bien aligné là, c'est avec toujours le lièvre, et derrière on a aperçu Thibaut Plaxec, hein, le pensionnaire de l'athlétisme cantonal Soisy-Andigny-Margency, hein, qui lui a déjà couru en 13,51, hein. Il est venu chercher aujourd'hui un chrono aux alentours des 13,40, donc pour l'instant tout va bien pour lui.
On a pu observer que l'athlète de la 3 tours avait reculé de quelques places. Il y a quelques concurrents qui sont venus s'intercaler entre les deux concurrents qu'on vient de citer. Mais il n'a pas décroché le wagon, donc il est encore sur le bon train. Voilà, puis
Alice, hein, il y a un signe qui ne trompe pas, c'est quand on voit un peloton comme ça en file indienne, c'est qu'en général ça va vite.
L'allure est bonne et que voilà.
Il n'y a plus qu'à s'accrocher, serrer les dents et aller le plus loin possible.
Il n'y a pas à réfléchir, il faut suivre, s'accrocher et ça va le faire.
Voilà, toujours le néerlandais Benjamin de Haan, hein, qui a été lui sacré champion des Pays-Bas du 5000 en 2021, donc c'est un très très bon client. Alors on va essayer de vous tenir au courant un peu des temps de passage tous les kilomètres. Les garçons.
Alors là effectivement ils viennent de faire une 5 au tour, c'est parfaitement les allures pour faire 13,40 parce que normalement c'est une 4,96 si on veut vraiment être très pointilleux. Donc les garçons sont parfaitement sur l'allure.
Voilà, on a aperçu également bien placé dans 10e position environ Nicolas Vitré, hein, l'athlète du CA du Pays Saumurois, qui avait pris une belle 8e place au dernier championnat de France de cross.
Il y a une première cassure qui s'est faite après un petit peloton d'une quinzaine d'athlètes. Il y en a 2 qui sont juste derrière, puis il y a de nouveau une cassure. Ça commence à s'étirer, c'est logique. On est à 5 minutes, enfin presque 6 de course, donc la logique des chronos commence à s'installer.
Voilà, on a vu également bien placé l'Argentin Dylan van der Hoek, qui a tout sauf un nom argentin, crédité de 13,53 cette saison. Voilà, effectivement, tu disais Alice, il y a une petite, ça commence à s'effilocher là devant, des petites cassures.
Mais ils sont encore quand même une bonne dizaine, sans souci à être dans la foulée, ou du moins les uns derrière les autres pour cette allure de la première wave light.
Le lièvre qui s'est écarté, il me semble. Oui. Et on devrait atteindre la mi-course là à la sortie du virage, juste avant effectivement de rentrer dans le tunnel. Voilà, il y a une mi-course passée aux alentours des 6,53. Voilà, on est plutôt maintenant sur des bases de 13,45. La Wave Light à 13,40 a pris un petit peu de.
C'est un petit peu échappé. Voilà, on voit qu'ils sont une 6 au tour, donc ils perdent une petite seconde par tour, ce qui explique pourquoi cette Wave Light est un petit peu devant eux. On peut également voir que les athlètes ont la possibilité de prendre des verres d'eau, ce qui montre que quand même le meeting prend aussi en compte le fait que les conditions météo peuvent être très pesantes en été. Finalement, la météo n'est pas si mauvaise ce soir, mais voilà, on peut quand même voir que certains athlètes apprécient et prennent quelques verres d'eau en cours de route.
Effectivement, tu l'as dit l'année dernière, il faisait très très chaud, hein. Tu en avais fait l'expérience, tu avais couru en finale A
en finale B ou C, je ne sais plus, mais non, pas en A, ça c'est sûr.
Mais en tout cas, il faisait très chaud.
Mais il faisait très très chaud, ça je m'en souviens très très bien. Mais là ce soir les conditions sont optimales.
Voilà, il a resté 2000 mètres à effectuer, hein. On va passer bientôt aux 3000 sur la ligne. Avec c'est Saïd Kadour, le Marocain, le Marocain d'Alès Seven Athlétisme, qui a pris la tête du peloton.
On voit Nicolas Vitré qui commence un petit peu décrocher le peloton.
Oui, absolument.
On a un concurrent qui s'arrête. Il vient de s'arrêter à l'instant.
Allez, on a un petit groupe de 8 coureurs là qui semblent se détacher. C'est Saïd Kadour, hein, qui a un record à 14,03 et l'athlète d'Alès, lui, a décidé d'aller chercher un chrono ce soir, hein. Ah, c'est Thibaut Plasek, hein, je crois, qui a relayé Saïd Kadour. Voilà, Thibaut Plasek.
Et qui fait pas semblant. Il a l'air d'avoir pris quand même, d'avoir pris un petit mètre à ses concurrents, mais il vient d'être rejoint.
Voilà, il a bien relancé le francilien.
On le voit passer juste là, à la sortie du tunnel.
Voilà, et
Nicolas Vitré qui effectivement décroche ce peloton.
Et Alex Ngouari-Mouissi également qui revient dans la foulée de Thibaut Plasek, le Congolais licencié à la 3 tours. Alors on va avoir une belle fin de course, hein, Alice.
Tout à fait. Il se lâche pas, donc ça promet les derniers tours progressifs. Et c'est parfait, parce que c'est ce qui va aider aussi les athlètes à pas s'endormir et au contraire à relancer dans les derniers tours. Il y a besoin de cette concurrence, de cette densité-là pour aller chercher encore mieux. On voit que le concurrent de la 3 tours revient au niveau des épaules du concurrent de tête.
Ouais, Alex.
Donc ça ne fait pas que suivre. Et voilà, il se relaie, c'est ce qui est parfait.
Il se relaie bien, effectivement.
Parce qu'on a parfois tendance à avoir des courses où derrière on est attentiste, on attend les derniers tours. Là on voit que tous les concurrents veulent aller chercher le chrono et c'est top parce que c'est comme ça qu'ils vont tous réussir.
Une bonne collaboration dans ce groupe de tête.
Qui reste assez dense, hein, qui n'est pas à la queue leu, qui reste quand même un minimum en peloton. Ce qui prouve que les garçons ne relâchent pas l'effort.
On a vu également le Chilien Diego Uribe. Champion du Chili cette année, il y a quelques jours. Donc Diego Uribe qui a pointé le nez en tête de la course et effectivement, Lise, tu l'as dit, ça se relève plutôt pas mal hein, devant. Les garçons le savent, hein, on vient ici pour chercher son record personnel.
Voilà, Thibaut qui commence à reculer un peu dans le peloton.
Voilà, toujours...
Ça commence quand même les concurrents commencent à être éliminés les uns après les autres du peloton de tête.
Ça se décante, effectivement, ça se décante. Ça fait... L'écrémage est en train de se faire.
L'écrémage, tout à fait, c'est le terme que je cherchais.
Je crois qu'on est rentré dans le... Non, on va bientôt rentrer dans les 3 derniers tours. Deux derniers tours. Voilà,
donc ils ont entamé le dernier kilomètre.
On est dans le dernier kilomètre, ça y est.
Voilà, ça commence à se relancer, bien relancer. Encore un nouveau concurrent en tête.
Voilà, on va essayer de vous identifier
cette personne.
Concurrent. Voilà, ils sont plus que 4, allez, voire 5 à pouvoir aller se disputer la victoire sur cette finale C du 5000 ici au Parc des Sports de Maison Lafitte. Décidément, à chaque fois je veux dire Montesson, mais non, nous sommes bien à Maison Lafitte cette année. Voilà, il va rester maintenant.
Ils sont plus que 3 là.
600 mètres, voilà. 600 mètres. Ngouari-Mouissi qui coince un peu là. Alors, on va avoir une fin de course tonitruante là entre ces 3 garçons.
Et on voit qu'ils tirent tous sur les bras, qu'ils poussent, qu'ils donnent tout. On voit vraiment qu'on est sur la fin de course, que les garçons ont vraiment envie d'aller chercher le meilleur chrono, que ça n'a pas été une course stratégique.
Allez, on pourrait être sous les 13,50. Voilà, c'est Jack Smith, le Britannique, qui a pris
qui a vraiment depuis quelques tours.
Voilà, il a une belle référence, il a un record à 13,38 le Britannique, donc il a...
il se fait, ces derniers tours, il est en train de se faire relancer par 2 garçons. Le concurrent de la 3 tours a l'air aussi un peu de revenir sur lui. Il n'a pas dit son dernier mot, je pense.
Ouais, c'est pas fini là.
C'est pas fini, le podium n'est pas défini. Il y a encore moins la première place.
Voilà, le Jack Smith britannique qui semble un petit peu payer ses efforts
il coince un peu,
tout à l'heure. Je crois que finalement c'est Diego Uribe qui doit toujours être dans le coup. Ouais, c'est Diego Uribe, le Chilien. Non, finalement c'est Dylan Van der Rock qui va aller s'imposer, l'Argentin, avec un nouveau record personnel. Hein. Il était crédité de 13,53 et maintenant c'est sous les 13,50. Donc très belle victoire de l'Argentin Dylan Van der Rock.
On voit que derrière ça arrive en flux permanent.
C'est parti fort sur cette finale C du Fast 5000. 13,48,95, voilà. Chrono officiel pour Dylan Van der Rock et le Chilien Diego Uribe. Nouveau record personnel également pour lui, 13,50. Je crois qu'il n'était jamais descendu sous les 14 minutes, hein, le Chilien. Et Alex Frank Nguarimu aussi, le Congolais de la 3 tours, également un nouveau record personnel, 13,50,86. Lui par contre c'est sûr, c'est son premier chrono sous les 14 minutes.
Une belle barrière de franchie.
Eh oui, c'est une barrière, hein, 14
symbolique.
Minutes sur 5000, hein, c'est une barrière. Il y a beaucoup de barrières comme ça en demi-fond, les 15 minutes bien sûr, les 14, alors les 13 pour
les meilleurs.
Le gratin du gratin. Voilà.
C'est des barrières chronométriques mais aussi psychologiques, hein, parce que
ouais.
On a tendance à idéaliser, à se focaliser sur certains chronos tout ronds comme ça. Parfois on peut buter dessus plusieurs années avant de totalement l'exploser d'un seul coup. Donc voilà, c'est aussi une barrière mentale. Oui,
fois on bloque voilà, psychologiquement, voilà, il y a un cap à franchir. Et parfois, quand il est franchi, ça descend ensuite
très vite.
Très vite. Voilà, vous revoyez à l'écran l'arrivée de Dylan Van der Rock, l'Argentin.
On a quand même une dizaine de concurrents sous les 14 minutes déjà.
Belle densité.
Hein. Dans cette troisième série du 5000 mètres.
Voilà, et quasiment que des records personnels pour ces jeunes gens. Dylan Van der Rock, hein, qui est espoir.
À noter la performance de Baptiste Cartiot en 14,01 apparemment.
Et Baptiste Cartiot qu'on n'avait pas beaucoup vu sur 5000 mètres, donc le vice-champion de France espoir de cross-court cet hiver.
Plutôt spécialiste du steeple d'habitude sur piste.
Et donc une belle entrée en matière pour Baptiste, hein, sur 5000, même s'il n'a pas cassé la barrière des 14. Ah, on a un invité de marque sur le Fast 5000, Philippe Candeloro.
Pour remettre les médailles, tout à
voilà.
fait.
Bon, c'est super, c'est sympa ça.
Une figure du sport français.
Voilà. À quelques jours de l'ouverture des Jeux Olympiques. C'est bien que les sportifs de différentes disciplines se rencontrent. Donc Philippe Candeloro est venu nous rendre visite. Il a laissé sa patinoire et voilà. Il est venu sur la piste du Fast 5000 ici à Maison Lafitte. Voilà, vous voyez le
podium.
Podium avec un podium, ma foi encore comme tout à l'heure chez les filles, un podium très international et je crois que ça va aller. J'ai compté tout à l'heure, je crois 25 nationalités recensées sur la compétition. C'est une preuve qu'on.
C'est un beau panel.
Un beau panel et une preuve qu'on vient ici de loin parce qu'on sait qu'on va y réaliser de belles performances.
C'est ça, que les conditions vont être présentes, que la densité sera là pour pousser aux meilleures performances possibles.
Voilà, alors Alex Frank Nguarimu ici est affiché français, mais il est bien congolais. Hein. D'ailleurs, il espère être du voyage
aux Jeux Olympiques,
hein, pour son pays. Voilà, l'Amérique du Sud, un Argentin, un Chilien et un Congolais, c'est super. Très beau podium pour cette finale C. Avec 3 records personnels pour ces trois garçons. Ça commence très fort. Voilà, vous découvrez les résultats sur votre écran. PB, ça signifie personal best, record personnel. ESB,
season best. Meilleur chrono de la saison.
Meilleur chrono de la saison. Voilà, Thibaut Plaxec qui avait été très acteur, qui finit en 6e en 13,57. Nicolas Vitré 13,59. Avec également 2 Britanniques, Jack Smith et James Hennigan en 13,52 et 13,55. Et tu l'as dit tout à l'heure, Alice, une dizaine de garçons sous les 14 minutes. Et ça, c'est plutôt bien.
Et grâce à ce genre de meeting où justement beaucoup de nationalités sont représentées, ça permet aux meilleurs Français, enfin tous les Français qui participent également à ces compétitions-là de trouver une densité, parce que même si on parle de demi-fond masculin, il y a quand même une très belle densité en France.
Oui.
Ça fait toujours de la concurrence en plus, c'est ce qu'on a expliqué tout à l'heure. Avoir quelqu'un en ligne de mire, avoir quelqu'un juste devant, sur qui juste caler l'allure, ça peut tout changer dans l'approche de la course et donc dans la performance.
Ouais, tu l'as dit, il y a une belle densité pour le demi-fond français depuis quelques temps, et ça c'est plutôt une bonne nouvelle. Tu l'as vérifié le week-end dernier à Angers.
Tout à fait.
Où tu as pris la 7e place d'une finale plutôt relevée avec la très belle victoire d'Agaï Guillemot, qui on verra à Paris dans quelques semaines.
C'est ça, tout à fait. Et puis voilà, des filles qui derrière ne déméritent pas. Est-ce que la deuxième, c'est quand même Aurore Fleury? Oui. C'est pas non plus n'importe qui. Elle avait réalisé 4,03 il y a 3 ans. Qui depuis a été un peu en délicatesse avec pas mal de blessures, et qui, je pense, a très très bien défendu ses chances cette saison pour espérer refaire un excellent chrono, pour espérer une qualification olympique. Malheureusement, elle a un petit peu buté sur le chrono, mais on connaît Aurore, on sait qu'elle a tout donné, qu'elle a tout mis en œuvre pour réussir. Donc elle peut être fière de ce qu'elle a fait, et voilà. On avait un très très beau podium le week-end dernier sur le 1500 mètres, mais également sur le 5000 mètres. On va d'ailleurs enchaîner sur une course de 5000 mètres féminin. Au niveau français, on avait aussi une championne de France qui n'a pas fait n'importe quel chrono au championnat d'Europe. C'est quand même Sarah Madeleine, l'une des meilleures performances françaises de l'histoire. Une concurrente qui depuis quelques mois a l'air de ne pas connaître les contre-performances. Elle a l'air de transformer tout ce qu'elle touche en or. Tant mieux pour elle, c'est mérité. Tout comme Aurore, elle a su mettre un projet solide et sérieux en place, entouré d'un staff de qualité. Et donc la réussite n'est que méritée pour ces jeunes femmes.
Ouais, Sarah Madeleine, 15,02. C'était à Rome au début du mois de juin, donc on la retrouvera aux Jeux Olympiques de Paris. Alors c'est vrai qu'on aurait aimé voir Sarah Madeleine tout à l'heure dans la série A, dans la finale A féminine, mais bon voilà,
elle a d'autres objectifs à préparer. Voilà. Donc, on ne peut pas courir tous les lièvres à la fois. Voilà. Il faut savoir choisir les objectifs, surtout sur des longues distances comme ça. C'est sa première saison sur 5000 quand même, faut pas l'oublier. Elle n'a pas énormément d'expérience, donc même si elle s'est récupérée d'une compétition, c'est jamais pareil de récupérer d'un 1500 mètres que d'un 5000. Et il faut aussi savoir ne pas trop en demander au corps, savoir doser les efforts. Donc voilà, l'objectif est clairement Paris. Donc elle fait le choix de ne pas venir ce soir, et ça se comprend tout à fait.
Mais rassurez-vous, le 5000 féminin sera de toute beauté, avec plusieurs filles avec des temps d'engagement bien inférieurs aux 15 minutes, plutôt 14,45, 14,46, 14,47. On devra avoir une très très belle finale.
Un très très beau chrono pour des filles. Parce que ça, 15 minutes, c'est quand même du 3 minutes au kilomètre, c'est du 20 km/h. Donc pour donner un ordre d'idée, c'est quand même du 18 secondes au 100 mètres, mais pendant 12 tours et demi.
Voilà.
Donc c'est pas rien.
Et si vous voulez vérifier, vous allez sur une piste, et puis voilà.
Vous faites un 100 mètres, et dites-vous qu'eux, ils font ça pendant 5000 mètres.
Voilà, alors vous le découvrez là avant la prochaine course qui se tiendra à 20h20 avec la finale B féminine. Donc beaucoup d'animation sur le terrain. C'est un peu le concept des on-track night. Donc voilà, les enfants peuvent se tester, peuvent sprinter. On a
des cellules qui leur permettent de se chronométrer sur une vingtaine de mètres.
Voilà, des champions en herbe là qui peuvent se tester. Tout à l'heure, on avait des cracheurs de feu, on avait eu du breakdance, on avait tout un tas d'animations. Le but, c'est de faire venir du public sur la piste pour un petit peu casser les codes de l'athlétisme. Et c'est plutôt un joli concept.
Tout à fait. Là, on voit les concurrentes du 5000 mètres rentrer sur la piste, faire leurs dernières accélérations avant de se jeter dans la gueule du loup du 5000 mètres.
Voilà, on va vous rappeler le programme à suivre. Donc on l'a dit, dans quelques instants, la finale B du 5000 mètres féminin.
Avec comme lièvre haute clavier.
Voilà, haute clavier international sur 3000 cibles. À 20h50, on aura la finale B du 5000 mètres hommes. Ensuite, on aura du 1000 mètres. Voilà, du 1000 mètres et un 1000 mètres qui promet d'être explosif avec 2 séries. Ensuite, on aura à 21h30 un 2000 mètres féminin. Oh là, très clairement, on peut le dire.
Le record de France est en danger.
Est en danger, voilà. Un vieux record de France détenu par Annette Sergent. Hein. Donc là, on espère avoir un record de France ce soir. Hein. On y reviendra, on aura le temps d'y revenir.
L'année dernière, on avait eu un record de France sur le miles féminin. Donc exact. On espère perpétuer cette tradition du record de France au FAST5000 sur les distances féminines. Donc voilà.
Et puis Alice, on finira en beauté à 21h50 avec la finale A féminine, puis à 22h15 la finale A masculine. Donc on l'a dit, le meilleur reste à venir, mais ça a commencé déjà très fort hein, avec des très jolis chronos sur cette finale C. En attendant, dans quelques instants, voilà, à 20h20 précisément, dans 5 petites minutes,
la série B
féminine. Voilà, vous voyez hein, le stade...
Brouille de personnes. D'habitude, la piste est plutôt vide lors des meetings. On a plutôt tendance à demander aux gens de rester sur l'extérieur de la piste. Là, au contraire, on peut même voir un peu en fond le pont qui a été mis en place pour justement, au contraire, faciliter et permettre au maximum de spectateurs de naviguer entre l'extérieur et l'intérieur du stade.
Voilà, vous voyez cette passerelle à l'écran. Hein. Voilà, comme ça, les gens peuvent sortir, peuvent aller, peuvent venir, ils peuvent vivre leur vie. Et ça, c'est plutôt sympa. Voilà, l'athlétisme ouvert à tous, familial. C'est sympa comme soirée comme sortie du samedi soir, aller voir de l'athlétisme.
Tout à fait, voilà, on fait découvrir de jolies choses aux enfants. On leur fait découvrir une ambiance de fou pour leur permettre de comprendre que l'athlétisme c'est sérieux, mais on peut aussi transformer ça en événement festif.
C'est aussi un spectacle, absolument. D'ailleurs, en parlant de spectacle, si vous voulez avoir vraiment le top du top, vous pouvez vous rendre au stade Charletti demain soir pour le meet.
The pace within, so there's a really kind of beneficial to everyone involved. So runners now, B race, they'll be looking to put some marks on the board to challenge potentially for the big strong prize money, but we expect the prize money, expect all the positions to come from those A races. But we sometimes have seen some hidden runners that have just been out of form, and there's a few that in this race that we'd love to see return to form. And talking about Highgate Harriers and Knight of the 10,000s, there's their club record holder over this distance, Rebecca Johnson, another Brit in there, and the fastest in there, Sarah Austin, the Belgrave athlete, and Georgie Gurek, the athlete I think based in the UK, running for her Neil Harriers, running the World Cross Country Championships for New Zealand. So Doua Akwagi, the athlete from Morocco. Gulamin, the French athlete just below. And you can see Mission Maharo is the athlete from Burundi, who's one of the fastest in the field. So Burundi is a athlete that's running the World Cross, 10th at the All African Games Championships. So expect the Burundian athlete to be somewhere towards the front as the refueling for some athletes takes place in one of the many marquees, just enjoying themselves and relaxing, and the relaxed music and refreshment that are on offer at this meeting. And for some, it's not going to be relaxing for the next 15 or 16 minutes. So cast your minds back to 2021. The first woman across the line was Alita Haji, 16:07. A year later, Aban Ahmed ran 16 flat. And then the B race last year was Sama Hassan, 15:21. Hassan really ran away with it last year. It was a very impressive B race, but he's winning the A race in 14:46. So that was the progression. That was the rising standards. And you might wonder what that boost was. Well, it was when On came on board with their support. So Kearney there, the Irish athlete on the right of that left-hand start of the waterfall. 5.56. There's a strong contingent of French athletes, and there's a Ukrainian in there as well, Maria Mazarenko. So 73 half marathon. So a few athletes that are stepping down distance. It's a good time of year. And if you're an athlete at home looking to improve your 10,000 or your half marathon, even marathon, get out and do some 5,000 meter racing this time of year, June, July. Spin those legs. They talk about running economy and the sessions that you've got to do, slightly harder, shorter, harder sessions, but they will definitely help you towards being a bit more economical. And hopefully then when you go back to the longer distance, it just makes the maybe the first 5K, 10K a little bit easier. So not that it can ever be that easy running half marathon or 10,000 meter races, but fantastic work again by a pacer in that first race, the C race. So there's our next pacer in the black singlet going to the front of this race. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that race clock and hopefully clip out those kilometre splits. If you're thinking about the athletes going 15:50 in this, we're looking at 3:10 per kilometre. So we need some good pacing, some economical pacing. And it's about the athletes just settling down. It's a large pack. You can see it is breezy, but the athletes themselves will not be too unfamiliar with that. So many of these athletes, the amount of work that they have to put in, and the weather that we've had up and down Europe has been so mixed this summer so far. I think we'll do a heat wave, but hopefully that doesn't come on the 10th and 11th of August during the Olympic Games marathon. So this type of temperature would be fine, but less breezy, please, for our endurance runners. So fantastic work at the front. The pace is strong. And the athletes have settled in behind. Again, that's what we want. We want athletes to get in there. And try and keep an eye on who the athletes have latched on to this. Andrea Romero, you can see the Spanish athlete, I think wearing 5:38, 16:02 lifetime best. As we go through some of these B and A races, there's a good number of Spanish athletes that have made their way. And they, again, most countries have just come off the back of their national championships. So you're going to have athletes, some that are absolutely buzzing from what's going on, where they are. Others, it's not gone to plan. And they're looking for a real return. So this meeting comes at exactly the right time for some, where they just want to get out there now and put right maybe what didn't go well in their national championships. And we're seeing some of the A races coming up, some of those that are on their way to the games and some that aren't. And we've seen a few stories this week, a few different nations, whether that's Sweden, whether that's Great Britain, where athletes have not been selected, and it's heartbreak, it's heartache. And on the flip side, then athletes that have got the qualifying times, and you know they're there and they're celebrating and absolutely delighted with life right now. So the sport can be cruel, it can literally sort of change on the flick of a switch sometimes, a trip sometimes in trials, or the right race, right time, and this could be for some one of those. So 3:07, so we are right on pace. That puts us around the 15:30 mark. So great job by the pacer, and you can see if you're an athlete in that lead group, you'd be more than happy. But then there's a bit of a gap. We've got one athlete isolated at the moment, and I'm sure that they would want to get back on board with this pace. It's one of those where not being in the group, you've got one of two choices, you know, you kind of, or three choices maybe. It's stand where you are, just keep ploughing the lonely furrow, or try and get back, work a little bit harder to the group in front, put a harder lap in, or sit back, take your foot off the gas and just accept that you're going to have an easier couple of laps, but you're going to be joined, bit of company for a few laps. And as we saw in the last race, that might mean that you can pick the pace up towards the end as well. And if you can pick the pace up towards the end, then that could really pull a few seconds off that closing time. So pace is there, 14.35. That is Georgia Garrick, the Hernhill Harrier. 14.45 in that green singlet. Again, very, very strong athlete over different distances on the track, road. She had a very good run in the cross-country championships in warm conditions. If anyone was in Serbia in March, I don't know what was going on. I think we might have had the European summer that day. It was the best part 30-odd degrees and not the kind of temperature that you want to run a cross-country championships in. And Garrett, though, did run very well. And good to see New Zealand sending full teams to that event. And again, that is a discussion. And it is something that European athletics, world athletics, are having those discussions, I'm sure, to make sure that nations and New Zealand themselves pride themselves on their heritage of distance runners, the likes of Rod Dixon, John Walker, and Marlo and the women's, that they would want, Anna Moller, that they would want, to get a showcase of their runners on the world scene. So they did that. Some other nations, when we went down, the results just didn't even have one runner. I think it was even Germany, for example. And you would just think we need the European nations to support world crosses in Europe. So that's not right. That's not a 229 kilometre split, so don't be fooled by that. The 2 kilometre split is going to be on the back straight, so 229, that would be a fantastic bit of running. I'm trying to think what the women's world record is for 1 kilometre, so it can't be far off that. Probably Maria Matola going back a few years, but down the back straight, this is going to be 2 kilometres, so we were 3:07 through the first kilometre, so we're anything 6:14, and we have absolutely nailed on, and we are metronomic pacing up front. So there you go, it is 3:07, so great job by the pacer. It's exactly what we want. And 6:15 through that first 2 kilometres, but I think the pacer may have dropped out now. She has, so Garrick's to the front. Now that is one of the hardest things about pacing 5,000s, is the ability to have more than one pacer. To go beyond 2k or to get towards halfway is very tough as a 5,000 metre pacer. So Garrick there in that green singlet, and I think that's Sarah Austin behind her. It is blue colours. So 15:52 in Los Angeles in May. She was third in the Mickey Marlowe 3,000 metres in Bracknell, but didn't finish the UK champ. So an athlete, for example, that we're talking about, that wants to get back in the right rhythm. It's such a good half marathon early on in the year, 71:40, and such a big year last year that Sarah Austin hasn't quite had the kick on that she would have wanted in this 2024 season. But Garrick herself is deciding that she wants to keep this pace honest. So we're looking for anything around that 9:22. But that will mean that we've maintained that pace, and we're still operating in around about that 15:35. All right, if they can pick it up towards the end, definitely under 15:40 pace. So those that know your miling, it's around about 5 minutes per mile, so that's 75 seconds per lap. So that's the kind of lap splits that we're looking at. You see the mascot there? It's a hedgehog. So I don't know the name of the mascot, so have a guess. Maybe it's Spike. I'm just trying to think, well, is that being used by another mascot somewhere? So this is the women's B race, Fast 5000 here from Paris. If you're joining us, we're absolutely delighted you've joined us on the European Athletics feed, or if you're on the direct feed itself, wherever you are. We hope you've had a good day, and hope the athletics that's going to come to you over the next few hours is going to put you in a even better mood. So next split we get is the 3 kilometres in this women's B race, as it looks like England versus Switzerland's gone to penalties. So from what's almost like the Vidi printer, I haven't got it live, but I'm sure the chats will blow up if one or the other result goes its way. So now, talking about results into the home straight, the next split we get under the tunnel of noise, the on tunnel with the lights past the mascot. So we wanted a timer around about 9:22. There we go, look at that. 3:07. Garrick has maintained this superbly well over the third kilometre. This is the hard one now. I'm sure all runners, and I'm a great one for saying it's all relative, but it is all relative. That 4th K, whether you're in your park run or whether you're in your national championships or whether you're on the FAST5000 B race and you're leading, that 4th K can just be a tough one. You're out there on your own. You're trying to gauge your effort to make sure you can maintain the effort. And we're looking for something around the 12:30 mark for 4 kilometres. So Garrick will be getting some really good support. And there is something about leading a race like this, and the athletes behind Sarah Austin is trying to make inroads. She's back now in 3rd. It could be Austin back in 3rd. Try and see who the athlete chasing the leader out there at the moment. It is splintered in this women's B race. So if you're keeping an eye on the programme, so the men's B race going off at 10:09. That is French time. So Garrick coming through with 1 mile to run. Another 75-second lap. There we go. Austin is isolated in 3rd. And she knows she's got 4 laps of this Maison Lafayette track here in Paris. It's around about 20 kilometres away from what will be the Olympic stadiums in Denise in around about 26 days' time. At the city, the opening celebrations of those games take place in less than 3 weeks. So the excitement of the Olympic Games and the noise and the buzz. We've Diamond League tomorrow, so the athletics is coming thick and fast from Paris. But the Fast 5000, in just its 4th year, is just getting bigger and better. So a lap away, Garrick, from the 4 kilometre split. Now she's been close. This has been a big move. I'll try and catch who that runner is. I didn't quite catch it on the last lap, but in to the home straight with 3 to run. And I think it could be Abukia, the athlete, Joao Abukia from Spain. 32:41 this year, 2nd in Barcelona on the road. So athlete with really good strength. And Abukia there, the athlete that is really close that so rapidly. Now I tell you what, this is going to be really important for Garrick now. That if she can latch on to the athlete that's just caught her, or decide that actually she's taken her foot off the gas. So down the back straight, this is going to be 4 kilometres. We wanted a time of around about 12:30. That would mean that we've maintained that 3:07 tempo. And you can see it's just dropped ever so slightly. And that 3:10, that is probably why Abukia has got back on to Garrick, because she's managed to close around 3-4 seconds in that last kilometre. And that's why they are back together. So we have just dropped off just very slightly, going inside 15:40 pace. But this is going to be a race now. It's great that we've got 2 athletes. They're going to see 2 laps of this enclosed circuit here, with the marquees, with the cowbells, with the music, with the fans. 76.6, so the athletes know that they've got to try and pick this up back to a 75 or a 74, and then maybe try and find another gear in the last circuit. Joao Abukia there, the Spanish athlete who's just latched on. And as a runner, you've got that decision, haven't you, when you catch a runner that quickly, which you seem to do, that do you just tuck in behind? And with the light breeze here, then that can sometimes be a smart move. Or if you're feeling good, just blow right past, just go for it. Just decide that you're going to, put your head down, put the hammer down, and decide that it's got to be done. So they are in the business end of this B race. They're going to come round with 500 metres to run, and it's going to be a really big push now. And it looks as if we're going to get the sound of the bell. Rukia takes the lead, 14:26 with a lap to run. So we're going to lead a circuit inside 73 or 74 seconds to break the 15:40 mark. So that would be something that for this B race tonight, with a bit of a nominal B race 12 months ago with the 15:21 of Samir Hassan. But the athletes today, this would be very, very good running for themselves. Some big personal bests. And this is a big gear. So the athlete that we expected on strength to be someone to chase. And now she's absolutely turned it on. Bukia, the Spanish athlete, has turned the last couple of laps on. And she's into the home straight. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a dominant victory, and she's going to be fantastically delighted with her personal best. Shrieking away. This last lap has been something very fast. Look at that. 15:37.01. 3:04 last kilometre. But all that running there, probably over that last lap, that really made a difference on the split time overall. The 76 has been rattled out before that, and that was a sub 70 last lap. I made that. 3:03 last kilometre. I think that's a big run, but I think the race of Garrick there, I think that Garrick really took it to them, and that was the chase. That was the athlete's marker there. You can see the athlete that's not quite runs in Spain, the Moroccan athlete that still runs in Moroccan colours, and still going for a nationality switch as well, I do believe. So on some results comes up as Spanish, on other results still Moroccan. So one of those where athletes do compete and do train and base themselves in countries sometimes. So a quality steeplechaser as well. The athlete that came in with a 16:09 personal best. A 10:15 steeplechase best as well. But that's probably one of her best races by a long or a big margin there. So fantastic work. And a very quick last circuit here. So good running and a victory. And it's a fast last lap in this women's B race. Bukia there taking the victory in the women's B race. And the commentator, so I'll let you try and hear if we can get some words here. I think it's going out to just the crowd down there and the mascot behind. So that's one of the French athletes, and I'll go out taking a personal best. You'll see that that little PB marker. These athletes know how much work they've put in for it. The kilometres, the miles, the hard reps, the cross training, the injuries and illness that go into being an elite runner, and just very close, Emily, to going inside 16 minutes. So that will be a nice marker for the future. Well, stay in shape and get yourself out to Tokyo in October. So there's a few races around Europe as well, so do keep an eye out for them. There's a few different 5,000s on offer that could be good races to go sub 16 minutes, but should be delighted with that. The Fast 5000 I delivered in that women's B race, and 16:02 lifetime best there. There's some highlights and playback, I think, from that women's B race. And there, the tape being brought out, and the celebration and the ecstasy and tiredness at the same time that greets a runner when they run to their limit in sub 15:40 there, with a very quick last lap. Fantastic running and fantastic scenes here the Fast 5000 here in Paris. And next race up, we have the men's B race. This will be again a competitive race. There's the results of the elite women's B race on the screen. It was a PB. Georgie Garrett there, delighted with that 15:40.96. And Gallard there, you can see third place, first French lady home in that race. And Sarah Austin there, just dropping off the pace a little bit in the second half. Tasha Rush is there, the Taunton athlete, season's best, well done. And there's the Ukrainian athlete that we mentioned earlier, Nazarenko, 16:13, personal best, that's great to see. And again, just a mix of nationalities in that race. Gerard taking the third place on the podium. So that'll be one for her that will make a good scrapbook picture in the future. There taking the runner-up spot, the New Zealand athlete. Bases herself out of London, so not too far to travel. Rukia there, the Moroccan winner. And the athlete that will be very happy with that performance. So an athlete that who's dropped a big personal best there. It's one of those where you expect to see her in a bit of a faster race next time. I think winning the B race at an event like this definitely gives you a feeling that you can go on now to run a little bit faster. And it looks like, I'm getting an update, looks like England have won on penalties. That doesn't happen very often, but it looks like England have got past the Swiss, and they're into the next round of the European Championship. So there you go. That's a delight, I'm sure, of some of our English fans out there watching. So their attention now can turn solely to this evening's races. And if you are catching up with what's gone on, we've had the men's C race, we've had the women's B race, and the men's B race 5,000 meters is coming up next on track. And then we're heading towards the men's B race over 1,000 meters, the men's A race over 1,000 meters. So I'm looking forward to those distances. So remember last year Nordas winning the 1,500 and announcing himself in the program as a very, very talented runner. So and then going on to a world bronze medal, almost unknown going on into this race last year over 1,500 meters. Rav Nordas, the Norwegian, but yeah, was someone that ran 3:32 in the meeting last year. But this year we're going over 1,000 meters for men, we're going over 2,000 meters for women. We've got a potential chase at a French national record and a few other national records in the women's 2,000 meters, and that's coming up later at 9:30, and that will be followed by the women's A race over 5,000 meters at 9:50. And then the last race of tonight's program, the elite men's race at 10:15. So do stay with us, do hopefully enjoy. There's a few different circus acts that are going on. There's been acrobats, there's been breakdancing, there's been action on the mini tracks for our junior athletes to get involved with. The sun is starting to set here and the wind is subtly dropping. It's still breezy. So remember, this is our international series of the on-track nights. This is the third event of the 2024 season, night of the 10,000 meter personal best, the Parliament Hill track back in May. And we had those track nights, Vienna. So many of the athletes that we've seen tonight were in Vienna, and they enjoyed some very fast times. Also had some middle distance and some quick steeplechases there as well. And like the 10,000 had some good junior 800 meters, good to see. But tonight it's the 1,000 meter distance for men, 2,000 meters distance for women. That is the complement to the 5,000 meter distance. So over 400 athletes entered, and so many nationalities have chosen to make their way to Paris. And yeah, epicenter of sport in the next 3 weeks. So the world will flock here, not just those athletes competing and those different sports, those that sometimes you only watch during Olympic year, but the friends, family, spectators, it's going to be a very, very busy capital city, and it's warming up with this festival of 5,000 meter running tonight, the Fast 5000s here, and then tomorrow the Diamond League as well. We'll see some of the fastest runners, jumpers, throwers in the world. There you go, there's the PB bell, ring it, bit of pride, Garrick there. She made the race, definitely deserves to ring that bell, but also I think deserves a couple of the athletes there to buy her a beer if she has to buy a beer, but or go and get her something that is the drink of her choice, because she made the pace when the pacemaker dropped out. It's so tempting to sit back, but Georgia Garrett there was one that decided to push it on, and that she did, and she's rewarded with 15:40, and that's a fantastic return. And if you start looking at splits as well, almost other than that 3:10, she pulled it back in that last kilometre, but she'll be absolutely delighted with running, averaging around about that 3:07 mark for the whole race. You can see the flags still just blowing very, very slightly, but hopefully it will drop and dream on. You can see the old logos that are around here. Electric Holidays are another important part of the event. Credit Mutual, Fun Lock, Pro Timing, all these people are important parts of the event. This is a World Athletics event as well. Again, one that is just a stepping stone to just continue to grow the event. When you are on the World Athletics calendar, it just provides another really good foot up. It provides points for the athletes. It provides a signpost for athletes, and that's why the last couple of years it's just really grown. So, talking of growing, there's our start list for the men's B race. So the athletes to look out for. We've got the likes of Maxime Cholomanton, the South African, 13:22 lifetime best. Burundian, we've got a strong couple of Burundian athletes in there. Trent Bizzola, again, he's third in Vienna. So 28:13 in Highgate, 61:30 half marathon athlete as well as a 209 marathon runner. So Bizzola has got really good strength and good range as well. His teammate Narandi is the 13:30 athlete, but only 13:43 in Vienna. That got him 22nd place. That's how quick that A race was. But he would want to have gone a bit quicker. We got a few European under-23 medalists. We've got the silver medalist from last year's, and that's Francesco Guerrera, the Italian athlete, 13:35 lifetime best. Again, he's someone that we've got to keep an eye on. And again, the paces as well. The paces are going to be so important in these early stages to make sure that runners get towards the pace that they want. The pace lights for this B race, we're looking at 13:20, 13:30 and 13:40. So that 2:40 last kilometre that we saw in the last race, that is the pace that we are looking to start off with in this men's B race. That's 64 seconds per lap. So if you're going down the local track at any point over the next few weeks, be careful if you do try even a 16-second 100, a 32-second 200. If you're going a full lap, 64 seconds, that's 4:16 mile pace. But you've got to do that for 12 and a half laps in just the B race here in Paris at the Fast 5000 to be anywhere near the front of this B race. I'm interested to see the likes of British athletes like Jack Goodwin, 13:35 in Brussels this year. That was a very good run by the Bedford athlete. So another one, Henry McCluskey. So ran the UK Championships over 1,500 metres. The Terence Mahern coached athlete now bases himself out of the US. So he's again someone that is so talented and he's got such range. 13:36, and one of the Mickey Marlowe 3,000 metres himself just a few weeks ago. and running that under 23s 10,000 meters as well. But McCluskey in this B race, and the fact it's aiming for sub 13:30 will be absolutely perfect. McCluskey there on the left of the screen in the outer start group, right in the middle in the dark singlet, I think, with the cycle shorts. So the pacer there, you can see we've had some caps on, but now we've got glasses to distinguish our pacer in this men's B race. And we got 3:37 man Martin Dismat, the athlete that was 7th in their national championships over 1500 meters. Oh, did the pacer just full start? I don't know whether he did. Don't disqualify the pacer, that would be an absolute disaster. So the pacer there, I think, conscious that he had to get out, and may have jumped the gun. So let's hope it's a green flag for everyone. There we go, they're off, and the pacer doesn't get anywhere near a good a start second time around. You see the back of that group on the right hand side, distinctive running style of the one and only Jack Gray. Again, another Cambridge and College athlete, and sub 14 at his best, and just again an absolute stalwart of the sport. I'm sure many of the Cambridge and College athletes are watching this, so and cheering on Jack Gray, as well as many of his Birmingham colleagues as well. British Milers Club in Birmingham tonight, many big performances there, I'm sure. And some athletes deciding to jump on a plane, train or car and go a little bit further afield. Bit of change of scenery, a little bit of international competition is never a bad thing sometimes, for just getting a little bit of motivation. And we've seen in the UK, the likes of British Milers Club, with so many athletes deciding that that's a spot for them to make a name for themselves as well. So it goes both ways. So this is the men's B race, down at the back straight for the first time, and around about 65 seconds, 64, 65 seconds, and it does look quick at the moment. It does look quick. And I suppose 64 seconds is quick running. The photographer getting some great action shots as the whole field is going with this. And I think there's a few athletes that maybe not starting in this B race. I did think some might get an upgrade. It's a bit like boarding an aeroplane, where everyone wants to be upgraded, and some of those want to be in that A race. Chancho there, Eduardo Chancho is the European Under-23 champion himself from 2021. So great to see some of our European Under-23 medalists making the step up to senior ranks. So 13:37 for Chancho there in Huelva, and that win over 10,000 meters in those European Under-23s in Tallinn. So I remember I was there as part of the GB team management. It was very, very impressive running. So again, he's got someone with good speed and good strength. So keep an eye out for him in the latter stages. So the Italian national champion, Chicago de Machare, he was champion last year. So sub 4 minute miler, 3:39. So in 13:34 in Milan this year. So Dimasharchi is again someone maybe to keep an eye out for. 1:38. That is Nawanka is the Burundian, wearing 1:38. He said about his disappointing run in Vienna, but get back on it tonight. That's the thing of any runner will know. You have a bad one sometimes, and you've got to dust yourself off. You've got to get back out there, and sometimes it's not about any more training. It's just about a little less training and just getting a little bit more focused on what you need to do. So this is the men's B race, and they are operating where we wanted them to be. So operating towards that 13:20 mark, and you can see this is fast running, exactly what it says on the tin. Fast 5000 here in Paris. This is the B race. Again, good representation of clubs. So Duarte Gomez in I think those green and white colours. The athlete from Portugal, 13:27. That was set on the 25th of May. So he's coming in good shape. And he also ran 3:40 the week before. So a bit of a prolific racer this season. So if that is him, then not afraid to put himself on the line and get right involved with any race he can. So good to see. the stretch of runners that have gone with this. So you can see, if you look down at their PBs, there's around 1340 athletes, 1330. So the fact that they are operating around that 64, 65, 66 mark is 416. So probably more of the 1330 mark right now. In the lapse time, we get the 2 kilometers, and you can see the lights that they're just chilling on, and the pacer almost just signals to the runners behind that I've got it. I've seen this before, where pacers just have to explain to the runners that please don't trip me up, or if you're aggressive behind, then I'm not going to go as many laps as you might want. Sometimes runners behind, and here's Julien Rank there. We've seen before, Rank, a very good 1500 meter runner himself. He paced this, was paced previously, and he's an experienced runner, very good 1500 meter runner. And Julien Rank there is the athlete who's with the glasses at the front, who's deciding to settle the pace down and just have a chat and make sure that they know what they need to do behind. And you can see now that we expected this to happen. There's just a few gaps starting to splinter now. And this is the 2 kilometer mark. So 5:24, so 2:42. So 2:42, 2:42. So we are right on that 13:30 mark. So that's what we wanted. Well, the majority of these runners. Green represents 13:30, so maybe 13:20 was a little bit of an excess for many. But they are now just sat and they are just chilling out. So Julien Rank there, his job is done almost on 6 minutes. So another 65-second lap. And we're probably down to around about 8, 9 athletes, but it is now about 1 athlete at the front now that's got to decide, am I going to keep the pace going, or do I sit in and let someone else behind me do that work? So the race itself has just gone from strength to strength this meet. So Ellis Cross, as I said, won the A race a few years ago in 2022 in 13:46. We've already seen that time closely matched in the C race this year. So B race with this many athletes operating at just around about the 13:30 mark. So this is fast running. Narawangi there, the Burundian, who's at the front and wearing 138. Zaya Narawangi is an athlete with strength, and he's deciding that he doesn't want to hang around. That's a 66, and that's why he's gone to the front. It's just slightly dropping off the pace the athletes wanted. We've got to keep this 66, 65 second going. And there's a few coaches I can see sprinting across the infield, giving their instructions. Again, shout out to the coaches out there, the training group partners that are listening and watching on the European live feed and on the event feed. So welcome wherever you are around the world. I'm pretty sure some of you have done many reps with a few of these athletes out there and training runs, and you'll be cheering for them. You know the pain that goes into these races. And great to see some of our junior athletes trying to keep up on the infield as well. But look at that pace. And when you go down trackside, you look at the pace they're travelling at. McCluckey is in that black singlet. He's looking pretty good at the moment, McCluckey. He's a competitive 1500 metres last week at the UK Championships, and McCluckey was handy placing that 157 as Mark Laurent. 750 indoors, so quality runner indoors, but maybe just being found out. 807, so again another 242, 243, so 807. So we are operating right on that 13:30 mark, but it is, as I said, becoming now tough out there. There's some gaps, and I'm trying to keep an eye on all the runners there that we expected to be in at this slight burn up. But a city there, I haven't seen him. I expected him to be up there. The Algerian, he could well be in that group. So he's wearing 139, 28:44 over 10,000 meters in Nice this year. But McCluckey now, maybe he's the athlete that is trying to close that gap. I think on the back of that group is Duarte Gomez in the green and white. But two athletes now that maybe just starting to pull away. So 4-1-1 and isn't on my start list. So we've got, no, he is. He's on the second page. There you go. So, and I'll tell you what, he's someone that we should have mentioned, the Israeli athlete, Areli. So second in their national championships over 1,500 meters. So he's got good speed coming in here, and 20th in Vienna, 13:38. So, but bit of a late addition to this race, hence the high number. So probably deciding after that national championship gold medal that wants another stab over this distance. And he's right there now. The next split we'll get on the next lap will be 4 kilometers. And that's a good battle between these two. They're helping out each other. That's what you want in this stage of the race. You want athletes almost sharing the pace. You can see some of the lights disappearing down the tunnel as the noise, the cowbells here on track nights. You don't get any better sound than that sound of the cowbells, of the cheering of the crowd. 67.01, the pace has dropped. That's why the chase group behind are trying to get back in contention. We are 3 laps to run here, and we're starting to lose a bit of time on that 13:30 clocking. And they're going to go down the back straight. This is going to be 4 kilometers here, and these athletes are racing head to head. Areli is the athlete wearing 4-1-1. He's in the red. Now Wambagiri is the athlete from Burundi, who's wearing the sort of white and orange singlet in the lead at the moment. So that's 4K completed. The pace has dropped, and that's why the chase group behind are doing their best now. You can see they go underneath the bridge between the infield and the outfield. This is going to be a really good race now with 2 laps to run. 4:11 is Areli. Areli is the athlete, and he's just got that forward lean motion. And there you go, another slowish lap. I say that 67.6. Go to the track and run that, and that feels like we're sprinting. These guys, it's slowing off pace towards the end of 5,000 meters. You can still see the flags blowing in the background, and probably just make it a little bit tougher for the leaders and those athletes isolated than it would be normally. So down the back straight, they're going to go underneath the on gantry that marks 600 meters. That's the halfway point of each lap. There you go, around about 12 minutes. So they're knowing their minds, anytime they step on the track and they've got a last 600 in training, that they would have a mind of something 90 seconds plus. That's what they're thinking. So I think we're going to be sub 13:40. That's 66 seconds for this last 600. And I think we might have a low 60-second lap here. Areli is the athlete that maybe looks the fresher of the two, but the Desire Marungi won't give it up. And there you go, 66.56 with 1 lap to go, 12.37. And looking out for McCluckey, I don't see him in that chase group behind. So whether he's dropped, I don't know. Gomez, I think, is in 4th place. But the battle now down the back straight. Areli has tried to go past on so many occasions, but it's almost like he just won't be allowed the luxury of going into the lead. No, Marungri is the Burundian 13:30 lifetime best from last year. He's going to be outside that. He's going to be, I think, quicker than his 13:43 in Vienna. So part of a very strong Burundian team and squad. And he's coming into the home straight now. But now he's going to come under pressure. Areli is pressuring him, just turning the speed. They're national silver medalist, but he's not quite going to get there. Gomez, I think, is coming there for a late charge. Around about 61 seconds for the last lap. Look at that, 13:38, 2:41 average pace, I think, for the race there. But well done to Desire. Noah Mungre, who just came away in the last few meters. Really, there was closing in, and I thought that that speed from the 1500 meters that he has in those legs was going to put him in pole position in that B race in the final stages, the final strides. But it was the strength there, and Noah Mungre there, the winner, 13:38.14, and he'd be delighted with that. Not quite as quick as the B race last year. So Mohamed Abey was the winner last year, 13:25.84. But the C race, just to give you context, was 14 minutes 0.58 last year. So much quicker, much more depth here this year over the B and C races. As we play back, we didn't see a replay of Julien Ranck's slight jump of the gun. And a few athletes that we saw over the first few kilometres not finishing. That is the world and the tough circuit that's out there. That some athletes that they just put it all out there and it's not to be, and so they decide to save it for another day, step off. It's not always the easiest thing, and sometimes it's not the right thing, but sometimes it's the decision made on the day. But they'll be back to fight another day, and we've had a few athletes that have come back. We've already given those a shout out, but this was the race. This was the B race, and this was a competitive race. And a late addition to the field early, the Israeli international just could not quite hold his lead. He looked the better, and I think that was Gomez, I think, getting up for third. He was absolutely finishing like a train. And but with 3:40 1500 meter, as I said, set a few weeks ago, it's the 13:27 man back in shape, I think, in this distance. It's 1:59 actually, I think it was, wearing the green. So it was actually Ruben Amariel, another Portuguese athlete. So I was right there. Damn, my spot on the Portuguese vest was spot on. But Amariel there. So Ruben Amariel take a step forward and a bow, because he finished 13:44 lifetime best. Absolutely smashed that. So gave him the plaudits of his teammate. But Amariel there, well done to him in those colours, sporting colours, and fantastic bit of running. So Tupa running's in the top four. Gazzola there, 13:41.08, but their personal best. Ruben Amariel, delighted for him. McCuckey did finish, but the wheels came off. Vidin Bullerin, the Slovenian in there. Jack Goodwin inside 14 minutes, and then a few did not finish the DNS, and the DNSs, if you see that on the start list, that means they didn't even start the race. So they may have not been here at all, or they may have not felt well on the day. So Ruben Amariel there, he's someone to keep an eye out for. So big lifetime best tonight, and but the closing speed, gave him the credit, the 3:40 guy, but he was closing very well. Big confusion there between the runner-up Ayali there and the winner. Fantastic win. Desire there, well done to him. Naran was a deserving winner. Did the hard yards, did the work when the pacer dropped out, and in the on singlet himself. That will be a shot and a few pictures of tonight's race that can be used very, very well in marketing for the on-track night here in Paris, and a night that follows on from what has been a brilliant series so far. Night of the 10,000 meter PBs, track nights of Vienna, and we are moving on after this in October, Tokyo. So wouldn't we all like to get involved with that one? So I'm happy to go out there, I'm just saying. So that's going to be a fun, the Middle Eastern Circuit event in Tokyo, and then the Zatopek 10 down under in Australia. And again, great to see some established meetings and some new meetings. I think that's the great thing. So some of these meetings that Zatopek 10, Night of the 10,000s that have had the support of on the last couple of years, but the elevation of the Fast 5000 just in 2 years of on support has been absolutely superb. So time check, it's just coming up to 9:10 here in the French capital. the city that is going to welcome the world here in less than 3 weeks' time. The opening ceremony of those Olympic Games is going to be an absolute cracker, and I can't wait for those games. When you start looking down at the 5,000, for example, women's, Sifan Hassan, who has been someone to run the on-track nights at various times, and an athlete that's going for 1,500, 5,000, 10,000, and the marathon. So that's the women's 10,000, and you know, throwing there so many other athletes into the mix. And then we've likes of Faith Kipyego, but then we've got obviously the men's 5,000 meters, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and then we've got Garros, and we've got so many others in there that are going to be absolutely vying for Olympic gold. And never discount some of our athletes that are coming through rapidly in a championship style race. And yeah, wouldn't it be an athlete that almost started his 5,000 meter journey here 12 months ago? George Mills, 10th in this A race last year, and then going on to that superb European silver medal in Rome, and then going on to well, take his place in the Olympic team. So a bit of sprinting on the infield by youngsters. I think they're doing nothing appropriate for the speed on the track. We've got two 1,000 meter races. So this is a popular distance in France. A lot of the French athletes will run this distance, and the distance sometimes also out in the USA as well. So especially indoors, 1,000 meters, there's got a number of runs there. Less ran probably youth athlete myself. If you know, coach distance, I've had a chance to run over more times than a handful of times. But yeah, I think history, and also the women running over 2,000 meters. History being that or often over here 500 meters. So 2 laps was an obvious distance, and 4 laps an obvious distance for the 2,000 meters. So the bit of history there for the track distances. And but today we can assure you that it's 400 meters, so that will be 2.5 laps of the track. So the fastest kilometer splits that we've seen are going to be absolutely obliterated. But we've got a B race to kind of whet the appetite. There are athletes that are going to be going for around about the 2:18 mark. So if you're an 800 meter runner, that's going through probably in around about 150 for 800 meters. And yeah, the lactic's already filling up my legs just talking about that. And then you've got to run for another 200 meters. And anyone that's running 800 almost to exhaustion, you know what it's like in an 800, that last 100 meters. Get it wrong in 1,000 meters, and it can feel a lot further than 1,000 meters. But start looking down at the world records. No, in the end, what an athlete from the famous mile in Rome, where him and the great El Garouge ran 2:43. In the end, Olympic champion as well, 2:11.96. That's the big race that's come up on the screen. It looks like the athletes are be interested to see how they split this in terms of I think doubling up in lanes. I don't think they'll have a waterfall start, but probably. So we've got Sacha Coulter, the French athlete, so running the heats of the national championships, and he's a 48.07 400 meter athlete. So look out for Guerre Duvin. He's a 3:37.15, won a 12th at national championships. He would have wanted a bit more in that, and look out for him. He's got good strength, 6th in their indoor national championships. Jerez is again a bit of a speedster, a European under 23 4x400 meter medalist from 2017. So 47 seconds, and probably would have split around about 46 seconds in a 4x4. So we've got the Algerian. Algeria's got a good legacy and pedigree right now over 2 laps. And look out for, I think it's Le Green will be the athlete to look out for. But there's a few athletes that are going to be going for it. There's another strong athlete, Derek Holdsworth, the USA best, 1:45.37. Running the Pan American Championships, 8th in the Harry Jerome this year. He's run 2:22 indoors. 4:19. Abin Bahami, the Algerian, 4:43.15 man, the pacer. It looks like we might go off a curved start. That's That will make it interesting for these runners. Many of these 800-meter runners won't know what a curved start is. The 1500-meter guys, they will be very used to that, and maybe the 4x4 runners will know what that busyness is like in the exchange zone of the 4x4. So the athletes just getting themselves ready, just going through last-minute preparations. It's a tough one to judge, the 1,000 meters, of how much energy to conserve, where to really, put your eggs in your basket. And as I said earlier, you don't want to be getting to 600 meters already cooked, because that will be a very, very long way home. So it's going to be a fascinating race, and I think the A race will probably keep half an eye on this, almost how to run the race here with the slight breeze. You can see the flags are starting to drop now, and the breeze in the trees, but flags trackside are definitely starting to drop a little bit. I think again, pain in those latter stages with a breeze in your face. I think if you go to the track and you run 1,000, you want 3 lots of wind on your back and only 2 lots of wind in your face. So but you don't get a choice here at the track when you turn up here. It will be to start wherever they, obviously the start point, and where that wind is, they've got no choice whatsoever. So objective in this men's B race, 2:18. So we're looking at probably around about 53, 54 seconds. And we're looking for the lactic sniper to stay out of sight for as long as possible. So we try and keep an eye on those wave lights as well. So looking at 2:17 is the green, 2:20 is the red, and 2:23 is the white. But I think most of our runners will want to be chasing that 2:17, those green, definitely around about the red. So last minute preparations. This is the first of our middle distance races of this evening's program here on that night. This is the FAST 5000, but this right now is the FAST 1000. So, I'm excited to see how this pans out, how this plays out. And they really have to go for it as well, because the sit and kick 1,000, that is super hard. And one of the athletes decides, I don't know whether he's going to stay on the outside, so a little bit of confusion there. And whether he's decided deliberately, like Kevin Holdsworth, the athlete from the US, maybe he didn't want to get right involved with the traffic, so could have been a smart bit of running there as they go through the first 200 meters. But the first real split is when it settles down, will be 400 meters, because there's so much jostling, and it's more about now them finding a controlled rhythm. So the 1500 meter guys will be licking their lips. Those that are from a 400 meter background will be licking their wounds maybe. So probably around about 54, 55 seconds. So slightly slower, I think, than they wanted. But it's about maintaining it now. But they look like they're on the pace. They look like they're on the green light. So deceptive maybe that back straight. The clock didn't stop. So let's see if the clock stops now at 600 meters. The pace doesn't quite get to 600 meters. Corinne Maglou, the French athlete, 146 last year, 7th at national championships. So 123 through 600 meters. So he's going to go down the back straight. That's probably going to be about the 151, 152 mark. So probably looking more around about the 220 mark in this B race. So Maglou could have expected to have been close to the A race. Corinne Maglou is down the back straight now in that black singlet, but look at that, coming under pressure, about 151 through 800 meters. So and the difference in styles here, when the lactic jumps on, the fatigue jumps on. Now that's a great shot. 419 is Barami, is the Algerian, the 3:43.15 man. I mean, Barami is streaked through, but there's some chasers behind. Expect maybe a few changes over the last 50 meters. Bahami there is absolutely flown. Look at that, 2:18. Wow, that was some last 150 meters by the Algerian, and that could be a bit of a signal that he's ready for a big step up, I think. So an impressive last lap, and it almost seemed to dodge the lactic sniper, and he looks absolutely delighted. So we'll keep an eye on that time in relation to the A race as well, because that was such an impressive run, and I think that's going to be challenging some of the positions in that A race as well, because that's a big step up for Brahmi. He looked very good in the closing stages, good bit of speed, and for someone that is still progressing, still coming through the ranks, and races over a few different distances. The 28-year-old, I think that's an impressive bit of running. 147 800-meter lifetime best, and he looks like he can go much faster than that, and even a 227-kilometer personal best. But again, he's taking almost 10 seconds off that time, and that was set in 2018. So he's only run 150 for 800 this year, so to have the confidence to go through in close to that is Brahmi there was a very confident athlete of the latter stages. Magoin there was the French, the home athlete that took it to him, and you could see just the cadence, the change in lead. But look at that, really strong performance over that last 150 meters into the home straight. Again, great noise, the cowbells are ringing out. But Cosine Maganu did very well, I think, to hold on, or did he? Let's catch this last 50 meters. Oh, I think he's going to be very close. He'll look over his shoulder. I think he just hold on for second. But the winner there, Marine Brahmi, was strong. Look at that. And given the strength and the scene at the moment of Algerian distance running, he's probably going to have to be knocking a few more seconds off that 800, or whether he chooses now to go towards a faster 1500. Given his strength over that last 200 meters, I think the latter. I think there's a 334, maybe a 335, if not faster, over 1500 meters. He can do it for 66% of the distance. So there you go, big win, 2 seconds. And I think that should be a PB rather than SB on the right-hand side, because I think that's a big personal best, 218.79. And you can see the French positions from second to seventh, so very closely packed. Holdsworth maybe just regretting that late enter down the home straight off the break. It seemed to cost him a little bit of energy, and back in 8th place for the USA athlete in 2:24. So next up, an exciting next step in the 1,000-meter journey that we have here tonight. It's the men's A race, and we again have a very strong field. Anaju is again an athlete that keep an eye out for, the 4-time national champion as well. So it's a strong field. Here's Copeland going in there as well. Another Ponty Rodent. So was just 9th in the British 1500-meter championships last week. Has won 147 this year. Baptiste Mitchell, 146 indoors. He's on 218.89 this year. So he's definitely going to be someone to look out for. Abraham Avaldeo is again 336.15 runner, and 144 in those USA championships in the semi-finals, 8th in the final. 144.90 gets you 8th in the USA Olympic trials. I mean, that is some time. Avaldeo, I think, is someone to look out for there. Very, very strong runner. And there's some very good athletes. Look out for Sadiki, the Moroccan national champion from 2021. And again, just expect, there's a whole range of athletes. We've got Torel, the German athlete there, who's 3rd in the German championships, 4.64 on the outside. Mania, he's 4 times national champion of Uganda, 145 going back to 2017 and 2023, so good range. So 334 this year as well, and or sorry, last year, I should say. In Potsdam, there's Copeland on the center of the screen, 404. Benzema, 145, French athlete, 6th in the national championships. He's on 218 this year for 1,000. So a couple of French athletes with experience over this distance, that maybe makes them dangerous. So Benzema is one of those that has that experience, wearing 404, and Also, the American athletes also have a little bit of experience, as I said earlier, in their collegiate system. They will run that. And Avalio has a personal best 2:17.43, going back to his collegiate days from 2022. But look also for Baptiste Michela, 2:18. That could well have been a lung buster for the season. So remember last year, or sorry, a couple of years ago, 3:32 in Monaco. Not quite in that this season. So Baptiste Michela would love to make a return to shape. And an athlete that ran well in Rome as well. Look out for the French athlete Anselmi. He's a 1:44.73 as well this year. So bronze medalist from the European under-23s as well. So this is going to be absolutely fascinating to see how this unfolds, and the speed and the strength that's going to be needed. So we are trying to get towards that fast times. Mida Bala's French record, 2:13.96. So Bala himself set it on French soil in Strasbourg, but I don't think that's going to be threatened today. But they are going to try and go 2:14 at the red lights, or the green lights up front. Red lights are going to operate at 2:17. So the pacer at the moment is stolen the march on the field behind. And well, there is a bit of a gap there, about 53. Looks like the group behind going through in about 54 seconds. So that's not quite what they wanted. That's going to be a hard work. It makes it hard work for the athletes behind. But they are in single file, and they are having to now keep an eye, maybe just ahead of where the pacer is. So 4:18. Zahafi is the Moroccan, 1:44 lifetime best, NCAA's champion from 2022, 2 times national champion. It's only 1:23 for the pacer. So the group behind, Copeland at the back of that, going through 1:24, nowhere near fast enough. So they're going to have to get going to beat the time, the 2:18.8 of the B heat. So 300 meters to go. It looks like it's going to be an absolute tear up now. All 8-9 athletes in contention. The pacer's job's done. They just didn't go with him. The pace is picking up now, though. You can see that about 1:49, 1:50 through 800 meters. So the battle looks like Alverio is in contention. There's all of them now lining up. It looks like Copeland maybe just can't get in closer contention of the leaders into the home straight. 4:66. Anselmi is the French athlete that's in really good form, and he's pulling away. The national champion ran so well, 4th in the semi-finals at Rome, 1:44.73. And I tell you what, he's just got inside the time of the B heat. I said the B heat time might be competitive. It absolutely was. But Paul Anselmi there, a very, very good bit of running there. And bronze medalist in the European under-23s, knows how to win races, knows how to get himself out of trouble. And he's already run a few thousand meters in his life. So that won't be the fastest he runs in his lifetime, but he'll get a nice check. There'll be a nice bit of prize money. And having obviously not quite made the final in Rome is obviously good practice for sharpening those race skills. And the athlete that we'd love to see in Paris, if he is getting that nod from the French national team. You can see just navigating the field behind, almost controlling them, probably getting some great local support. I'm sure the noise was pretty hectic out there for him. 6'4". Mananja, the athlete from Uganda, who's wearing 4'6'4". He's, again, someone that we expected to challenge. Good battles behind. Piers Copeland gets on the podium. So successful night for the Ponte Rodents. I didn't check to see if the group chat's going wild, but Copeland there coming through 4th, 3rd place. And the Bob Smith coached athlete places himself in South Wales and came through. Didn't look like he was in the race until the very latter stages, but that's Piers Copeland all over. So there was a good battle. Matthew Kipchumba there, Kipsang, 3:35 Kenyan, getting up, I think, for silver. Yes, he was, 2:18.86. So but we'll hold that thought on Pierce. I'm sure they are not going to combine the 2 times, are they, for the podium? I think otherwise I think he'd be relegated to 4th place. But in the elite race, in the A race, Piers Copeland taking 3rd place. And Strabellier was a very, very good winner there. Very impressed with Anselmini. I think that's a athlete to look out for. 1:44.7 was a big step up in Rome, but expecting the athlete to go a bit faster over this 1,000 metre distance, and expecting him to be someone that is a European under-23 medalist. I mean, the boss, I'm sure that they want to replace him, the former world champion, and someone that they want to emulate. And here I think they've got someone that has the skills, has the tools, has the racing brain, and is a very, very good runner. So fantastic work and a fantastic victory, and a French victory. I think that's a good sound and sight on what is a celebration of French sport over the coming weeks, with the Tour de France, the Olympic Games arriving in just less than 3 weeks, tomorrow's Diamond League, and tonight the Fast 5000s. Any other reason not to come to France other than the great wine, the great cheeses, the great meats, the great locations? You've got some great athletics and great sporting venues as well. So there's a replay, and you can see by the smiles that he was businesslike during the race. He was keeping an eye on the likes of Baptiste Michelet, who expected to be a little bit more of a challenge there. I think almost the slower pace, no one going with the pacemaker. And fantastic work by, well done to Paul. Brilliant win, brilliant running, and a high 5 off the hedgehog. So brilliant running. So time check, it's just gone 9:31 in Paris. So next up we have the women's 2,000 metres. And the lone sound of a cowbell there, as I think people were refilling their cups, refueling, and getting ready. This is 5 laps of the track. Now, this is probably a distance seen even less than the 1,000 metres. But I love this distance. I did get a chance to race it a couple of times indoors and outdoors, and it's quite a popular one in Belgium a few times. But distance that is, again, you think how hard a mile is when you're running it flat out, that you've got to pace it. And we saw Jakob Ingebrigtsen run something phenomenal last year. But world records, Francine Niyonsaba, the 5:21.56 clocking from 2021. European record going back to July 8th, 1994. Yes, your answer's on a postcard, but I'll give it to you. Sonia O'Sullivan, the great Sonia O'Sullivan, whose daughter is heading to Paris for the Olympic Games, 100 metres. So that's a European record. So whether that's challenged today, that's going to be tough. But the French record, 5:39.00, Annette Sargent, and that goes back even longer, 11th of July, 1986. So I know the meet organisers have got half an eye on that. That's going to be something that they're going to get after. 68 seconds per lap. You're looking at getting after a strong pace, and they would love to get inside a French national record today. So Ellie Leather on the inside, British athlete who's made great strides after going out to the USA. The former Yate and one of my old clubs, Westby Harriers athlete, now running for Team Bath, who's on 4:06 at 1,500 metres this year. And we have a couple of really good Ethiopians as well. Look out for Hawari Kusumba, is the I think with a 4:05 best, second in Nairobi, second in a few different races this year. So she's due a first, finishing on the podium at a 0 mile. She ran a 4:32. So that's a quality bit of running. Look out for Lily Anna Vindix-Toff, the Hungarian athlete, 4:11 PB. She ran that in the World Championships in Budapest, but better known as a steeplechaser, running the Olympic Games, the last Olympic Games, over the 3,000 metre steeplechase. So Laura Nagel is the New Zealander, 4:09 lifetime best, 6-time national champion. And she's already raced a few times in France, Troyes, back in mid-June. She also ran the British Milers Club in Loughborough. But she got a lifetime best of 6:17.99 from 2013. It's 11 years old, that PB. and I got a feeling she's going to absolutely smash that out of the park. Or I would expect her to do so. So again, pacer going to have an important job. They're going to need a little bit of wiggle room in the opening laps. So we're looking probably around about 67 seconds per lap if we're going to get towards that national record. Vera Kotelova is the German athlete, again, 409. The 28-year-old, a 4:33 mile, good range, and third in European team champs back in 2021, and national champion as well at the 1500 meter distance. But again, it's about pacing. It's about trying to navigate here on track nights. It's a fantastic international series now, and this FAST 5000 gives a chance each year to pick a distance and support athletes that in maybe Olympic year they've already got qualification over their 1500 or 5000 or steeplechase, that they're deciding now to drop down distance and have a bit of fun. It's quite nice to run a distance that you don't always get to race. You learn a little bit about yourself, and 701 is Toff, who I mentioned. She's got good strength. She won't want to mess around. So when you're dropping down distance from the steeplechase, but it's kind of a distance that she will want to attack. A European medalist on the cross country as an under 20 as well, and a 7-time national champion, ranging from 800 to 10,000 meters. That is some range. And a youth Olympic medalist over 2,000 meters, but with steeplechase barriers going back to 2014, so 10 years ago. So great to see her showing longevity. That's something that should always be celebrated in athletics. Athletes come through the junior ranks, come through the youth ranks, but when they hit senior ranks, that they stay there and they continue to perform year on year. So a single file here. This is the FAST 5000, but this is the FAST 2000 meters today. So looks like Ellie Leather is also right in that group as well. We expected her to be there. She's got good pedigree, Leather. So at 4:06, sixth in the Olympic trials last week, in a very competitive Olympic trials, fourth in the British indoors. There she is on cue, wearing 7:04. And the pace is maybe just slightly slower than they wanted. 2:19, that's 70s. So that's more like 5:50 pace for 2 kilometers than 5:40 pace. So could be the French record is slipping away. So to give you context of the British record for Leather, who's in the front, Yvonne Murray was in that same race as Sonia O'Sullivan back in 94, and still the British record, so 5:26.93. And Yvonne Murray was a fantastic athlete, low 4 minutes to 1500, but also very, very good, and medalist at multiple games over 10,000 meters as well. So Toff, though, decided, I think, that the lead of Leather had to change, and the pace had to pick up. They're through the halfway, and they're going to come through and see 2 laps to run as they come into the home straight. Now we are real single file. A few athletes starting to drop off this pace. This maybe looks like it's a pickup in the pace. Lauren Aguilera, I think, is a New Zealand athlete wearing 7:10. 7:07 is Cortelia that I said might feature the German athlete. It's run 15:42, 5,000, so it was a quicker lap. But now the next lap, they're going to go through the mile, and that's going to be burning some legs, some lungs, and they're still going to have 400 meters of this circuit here. Maison Lafayette, the beautiful sports complex here, and it tonight hosts a FAST 5000. We had 2 very competitive men's 1,000 meter races and the women's 2,000 meters. Last year, we had a world lead in the women's mile, Nikki Hiltz, who won the American Championship Trials, 3:55 for the gold medal. And I think it was the whole field inside 4 minutes in that USA Women's Olympic Trials. So, but last year's meet set Nikki Hiltz up for a very good season, and hopefully set her on to her way into Paris. And she's going to be here in the Olympic Games. So into the home straight. Fantastic running in this women's 2,000 meters race. A lap to go. Fantastic 4:40 with 1 lap to run. 5:17 was there as well, but it's Katie Delache, the French athlete, 5:08, bronze medal at nationals. What a run. And she's someone that we expected to challenge now. So it's down the back straight. Brilliant bit of running by the French national bronze medalist. She was hiding in there. Delache was just biding her time. And now down the back straight with 200 meters to run. It's a definite pickup in pace. But the national record, I think, is going to elude her tonight. It's going to last another few years. It's at 5:39. But it is a dominant bit of running. Delache there, the French athlete, into the home straight. Fantastic run. And now the chase is on behind. Keep an eye on the clock. It's going to be Nagel, the New Zealand athlete, is going to take it. And it's going to be very close to their national record. Fantastic running. 5:45.5 for the New Zealand athlete. And she'll be absolutely delighted with that. And whether that could set her on a meteoric rise towards going low 4 minutes in the 1500. But brilliant running there by Nagel. So Laura Nagel, the 6 times national champion, winning for New Zealand there, the women's 2,000 meters here at the Fast 5000. Fantastic bit of running. And congratulations, and she'll be delighted with that run. Well done. And you can see just a playback, the cowbells, and a exciting race. And the crowd really got involved with that. You can see them barrier side, making sure the noise was there. 5 laps of the track. It wasn't quite a French national record, but still be high up on the French all-time list. And a competitive, fast last kilometre there. And that does conclude our middle distance races here at the Fast 5000. 2 very good 1,000 metre races for men. Very good 2,000 metre race there for women. And brilliant running. And Laura Nagel there coming away in the closing stages. And to take that coveted prize money home as well. She'll be absolutely delighted with that. So congratulations, and taking the check, and the presentations will be done very, very shortly. So quick time check. So the time now in France, 21:42 in the French capital here in Paris. And the next up on track, we have the women's A race, 5,000 meters. So that's going to be a very, very competitive race. So looking out for times inside 15 minutes. So we had some very quick times in this meet 12 months ago. So we need Issa's record of 14:46.8. And we're expecting something to get towards that. So there's a chat with Segan there. So 5:48. So the athlete that was silver medalist from the indoor national championships, 11 in their national outdoor championships, Alice Segan, and a good run. But again, I think they might have wanted a little bit faster through the opening few laps, and just slightly dropped off. Wasn't quite where it needed to be in the latter or the early stages. So when the pace picked up in the latter stages, that it could get towards that French record time. So the time that stood since 1986 is going to last a little bit longer. So, but great racing nonetheless. I'd love to see this 2K distance run here a few more times. And the chase then would really be on for some fast times. Alice Finot, who ran so well behind Hiltz last year, that world lead. So French national record that didn't last that long over the mile last year. So they chased the brilliant Hiltz, but wasn't enough. But it was a national record that day. That was a national record that was almost 1,000 days old. And the national record didn't last 100 days of Finot's, so who ran so well in the steeplechase in Rome. So that set Finot up very well. So the meeting set Hiltz up 12 months as well ago. And there's the results, setting these athletes on the screen over 2,000 metres up, hopefully for the rest of their summers, and whether they're venturing up to 3,000 metres or whether they're venturing down to 1,500 metres again. See Nagel there winning for New Zealand. Cortelia 4:46, the German athlete, French athlete, Delache there taking the bronze medal on the podium, or the third place check, I should say. Whether there is a coloured medal, I'm not too sure, but 5:47, 5:2. Ellie Leather being a little bit disappointed with that 5:58. I think she might have expected a little bit of a faster time off a 4:06 season's best over field, personal best I should say, in the 1,500. But she was aggressive in that race, but a little bit of over distance work there. I'm sure she'll be back towards 1,500 metres in her next race. So the party atmosphere continues here at the Fast 5000. So a bit of a, I wouldn't say that's the acrobats that we had earlier. I think that's just members of the public. Don't pull a hamstring or hurt yourself in the production of that cartwheel. So the chats are on. The chat is all about how fast these two A races are going to go. So and who they're going to set the careers blazing for. So first we have the women's 5,000 metres. So the meeting record at 14:46.60. Radina Isa, what a run. What a fantastic performance 12 months ago. And back in it again. So there's some of the on shoes on. Obviously just a fantastic supporter of running, fantastic supporter of everything that's good about this sport. And also the likes of Electric Holias. We've got Credit Mutual, Funlock and Pro Timing, as well as World Athletics. This is one of the World Athletics calendar events. And again, putting themselves on the world map here in Paris at the Fast 5000. A meeting that's celebrated some of the fastest times last year, as well as some of the fastest times over the mile last year and 1,500 metres. And I said the likes of Nordas celebrated a big return or a big show to his season. It went on to a world medal. So who are we going to see tonight as a few of the parents test themselves? It almost reminds me it's almost or has been school sports day, where you will see a lot of parents going over short distances and hamstrings pop, but also you see a few hidden sprinters, a few team sport players that never knew that they could operate over such a short distance so effectively. I retired myself from my kids' sports day because I felt that the 40-metre uphill grass straight of Dorley Primary School wasn't a fair sprint straight for a former 1,500-metre runner. So plus I tweaked a hamstring in the third year of running and only finished third. So I watched and enjoyed the races this year, and I'm pretty sure many of them are watching the timing gates that we've got down there. It's not chip time, it's timing gates down there for our parents that are racing each other and the spectators down there. But do look after those hamstrings. So make sure that you are as hydrated as possible. Post beer flying 30s or 20s can be a little bit dangerous. So the cowbells are ready. We are coming to the latter stages. We are 2 races away from the conclusion of this program, but they are 2 very, very big races. I'm super excited about both of these. So the elite women's race first up on the track. And then coming up next, we have the elite men's to close out at 10:15. So it's going to be a superb show of 12 and a half laps. Coming up next, the women on the back straight. They're just going to be preparing themselves. There's the Czechs. And Piers Copeland does get on the podium for third place. So it wasn't on time. So there you go. And he'll be delighted with that. And so with the Piers Copeland fan club. But and so many there. What a win. What a dominant bit of winning. Kipsang, the Kenyan athlete, Matthew Kipsang, up for second. But there's your top 3. So France, from Kenya, from Great Britain. From some of our junior athletes, so they'll be on the podium up next. And this is the lad on the right. What a bit of speed. Oh, he's going back again. He's enjoying it so much that he's decided maybe to get the bragging rights of his sister there. So he'll be happy with that performance. Whether it's enough to make the podium, who knows? But talking about making the podium, it's going to be hard in this elite women's race. We've got some very, very good athletes. It's going to be a list of athletes that we'll take you through once we get them on the start line. And we look out for some strong runners. Janet Kipingenich is one that fourth in the Olympic trials over 5,000 metres. And for the Olympic team for Kenya, that's so hard to make. And fifth over their 10,000 metre trials team with 30.04 as we get highlights of the men's 1,000 metres. And Alsamani there, what a good bit of running. And looks relaxed. As everyone kind of looks at the clock with almost a bit of disappointment. I know they wanted a little bit faster, but probably the only athletes there are the ones on the podium that won't be too disappointed with the times. But those out of the podium will be less happy so. So back straight, women's 5,000. Germet Gabzuher is the Ethiopian athlete with a 14:46 lifetime best set in Liège last year. Look out, we've got Claire Green at the top of that, Carla Galadio, I think from Spain, who again we think will be someone to play. Francis Nokamzi, the Burundian, 14:44, third place in Vienna. So Hannah Irwin, Cambridge and Coleridge, another Ponty rodents in Jenny Nesbitt, wearing 5:14, Commonwealth Games athlete, a top 10 European cross a couple of years ago. So Jennifer Golkers, Golkers is again, so some strong athletes from the Netherlands in there. Emily van der Berg in this A race, and there's a strong contingent across nations here. It's great to see so many nations represented. So Tara Rollins there, I think the USA athlete, wearing 6:68. Look at the number of that 5:03. That's Gabriel here. So Baker there, I think that was centre of the screen. Right on the outside, paces. That's your job now, is to do exactly what it says on your number, is to do a great bit of pacing, set the pace, and make sure the athletes have a control first few laps. So Alex Millard, part of the World Cross Country bronze medal team. She ran so well that day in Belgrade, hot conditions. So Adam Fogg's leg, and Beth Morley bringing it home for a superb medal for the British team. And Tom Keane, the fourth member of that team. 6:53, that's Claire Green, USA athlete, on the very inside. As the spectators start them young here in Paris, you never know where they might go in the future. And they become stars of the sport themselves. These are all role models. So you see many of the athletes will be signing autographs and inspiring the next generation next year. And we've seen that already with the athletes signing autographs, the middle distance runners that we've had here this year and last year, as well as the 5,000 metre runners that will hang around and they will interact with the fans, spectators. So that's a great reason again to come and support these meetings live as well. Then please do get yourselves over here if you're thinking next year about meetings to get involved with, and this is definitely one of them. So again, waterfall start, probably less elbows than we saw over the 1,000 metre distance, but it's a strong big field in this women's A race, Fast 5000 for 2024. And Jasmine Liu is another athlete, 2 times under 23 champion. The Dutch athlete, 7th in those European championships. It was warm, it was hot. There was some athletes that didn't finish that night. It was tough out there. And there's obviously athletes that were set on their way again last year. The winner of that 10,000 metres and 5,000 metres, Nadia Botticelli, was such a dominant force in Rome. And last year, 7th place in 15 minutes exactly here. And Raini Kalita, the winner of the USA 10,000 metre trials, was fourth here last year, running 14:53. So that is the strength of athletes that have been put on a metronomic rise through the Fast 5000. So this tonight could be a really good stepping stone for someone to step up. It's going to be a competitive race up front. The pacers are going to do their job. So the pace lights in this, so we're looking at the 14:45 at the front, and then the second lot of waves is at 15. So that's the green going at 14:45, the red at 15 minutes Zaki, and then the white at 15 minutes and 15 seconds. So down the back straight, this is going to be a very competitive women's 5,000 metre race. And we're looking for around about 70 seconds, 71 seconds per lap. And the context of that is that's what we saw in the women's 2,000 metre race. So that really does kind of show you that these athletes themselves, that they've got to really get out and challenge some of the fast opening laps, and then it has to settle down. And athletes have to make a decision whether they're going to go and get on the race, whether they're going to sit at the back of each group, whether they're going to be someone to be dominant early on. And that is Kepengenic that I said that might be a contender. We're in 5:13, 65 minutes over the half marathon. She's gone sub 30 in Valencia over 10,000 metres on the road. So we're fourth for the Olympic trials, as I said, over 5,000 metres, and fifth over 10,000 metres. So that is the strength, that is the depth of the Kenyan distance trials for the Olympic Games. And these athletes are getting after it. So there's a few athletes that we expect to be up there as well. Look out for Aras, the Ethiopian, who's gone sub 15 minutes on the road. That's impressive running in Lille. So we're 8th in the World Cross Country Championships, previously as an under 20. So again, that's something that you would expect her to be thereabouts in relation to this. So early pace, and we'll get the 1 kilometre split as the sun is setting here. It's becoming a beautiful night here in Paris. 5:03. Again, is the athlete there wearing 5:03. I'm trying to work out whether that's two paces. That's an orange behind as they come through. It's 2:58, so it is sub 15-minute pace. And there's two groups, or three groups now, you can see, that are making their way around the track. So they've made the decision early on that these are the races, and there's two distinct or three, sorry, I should say, distinct groups. But, there's that group in the middle that have got to make their mind with that decision, with two decisions to make, whether they then start pushing towards that front group, or whether they sit back and then slot into that third group. But the leading group at the moment are operating around about that 71 seconds per lap. Pacer has dropped out already, so that's the first of our pacer. Check if we don't have a second pacer into the home straight, and they will see they will have covered 4 laps when they go down the back straight again. A slow-mo. They've covered 4 minutes of running, and they know they've got the best part of 10 minutes of pain to come. But yeah, the pacer has dropped already, so it is Naya Bakanzi, the Burundian, who leads that group. I'm not sure she would have wanted to be in there straight away, but she has got strength. 5th in the All-African Championships this year, 9th in the Road Running Championships, the new World Running Championships. I think that's an event that's going to grow and grow. So the event staged in Riga. Can't wait for it to head, when it does, to Copenhagen. So there's a competitive Belgium edition first. It's going to be one of those that gives athletes a chance to step on to the road scene and challenge themselves against the best of the world on the road. But this is about track right now. It's about chasing those lights. That's the 14:45 lights, the green lights, and there's 5 athletes clear, or 6 maybe clear, in this elite women's A race. 5:13, that is Chepngetich, as I said. 5:06, Erica McKenzie, the Burundian with the Kenyan. And I think Gabriel Hair is the Ethiopian on that group. So the East Africans, with the noise and sound of the bells, are running very well in the opening stages, the opening exchanges. They're going to go down the back straight, 2 kilometers. Here's the next bit. Remember, we had 2:58 for that first pace kilometer. Have the runners maintained it? They want to keep that sub 3-minute tempo, if not faster than that. So 2:58, so we're looking around about 2:56, 2:57. It's another 2:58, 2:58.9, so 5:57 through 2 kilometers. And already another athlete's coming off the back, peeling off the back of that group. And you can just see the green lights just starting to get away. So that probably means that the 14:45 chase might be slightly off at the moment. 5:05, Jep Kemboi is a 14:50 best winner in Leiden in May, 8th in their Olympic trials, and 30:40 in Valencia on the road. I don't know what position that gets you in Valencia now. Probably not very high up. 30:40 is just such a phenomenal time, but the depth in Valencia is just something else. So, good running, and trying to catch a glimpse of the groups behind, who is tucked into those groups. There's a big group going down, the third group, with all the athletes that are looking towards that kind of 15:30 pace. All look like they're there. They're operating at that 75-second lap in that 5-minute miling. So the next kind of visual we get is the halfway marker. So that's when they come round this bend again. So they've got one more bend, and that will be exactly halfway. So an unorthodox way, and they're keeping on the green lights. That's great. Camera just drops off slightly, and I think they're around about the 7:24, 7:25 mark through halfway. So that's 14:50 pace. So this is great running, fantastic running in this FAST 5000. It's is 5:13. Chepngetich has gone to the front a few times. She doesn't want the pace to drop, and look at that, they're getting right on the pace lights. This is where the pace lights earn their money. The pace is gone, but it gives them something to chase. It gives them that visual. Remember, the red lights behind are 15 flat, so that athlete in that no man's land are just off that. And then the group on the white lights, they're on that 15:15 pace, and there's a big group there right on 15:15. So they are operating on some really good pace down there, and we'll try and pick them out if we can, if we do pan back. But the leaders at the moment, the next big split we get is the 3 kilometer mark, and the fireworks, love seeing that. There's great screens here as well that are giving great visuals and stats to the spectators underneath the bridge again. The way that spectators and those that have raced get across from the outfield to the infield, even during the race, so into the home straight. This is going to be 3 kilometers. Have we maintained, or have we picked it up? The green lights have come, the green lights have slightly gone again. 8:55, so it's another 2:58, metronomic. So 2:58, 2:58 and a 2:58. We are setting our watches by these elite women. And the lead has swapped hands a few times, but they've got 5 laps. The distance that we saw Nagel winning for New Zealand, these elite women now have here at the FAST 5000 here in Paris. Less than 3 weeks away from the start of the Olympic Games. And we are celebrating everything great about sport, physical activity, and showcasing the best that 12 and a half laps can really do. It's hurting out there, but I tell you what, look at the elegance, look at the speed, look at the power the economy of running right now of these 4 athletes now. As the camera sometimes goes on their side, it really does give you a visual of how quick they're running. And it's Janet Kipengedic there who's going to lead them down with 1 mile to run. Let's see the lap split. It's a 71, another 71. So these athletes will train so many sessions that finish with a mile cut down or mile reps, that this will be something that they want to get after, and they want to turn the speed, turn the leg pace over the last kilometre as well. So they'll be counting down the laps. They're into the business end, you could say, of 5,000 metre running. And you know, we're going to need, or going to have a quick last couple of kilometres if we're going to get a meeting record. Remember, Medina Issa's meeting record 14:46.60. So this is a superb night here on track nights. This is the 2024 series. And if you're joining us from wherever you are around the world, absolutely welcome. This is a celebration of everything great about the sport. On are supporting it left, right and centre. Night of 10,000 metres, Vienna track nights, and tonight Fast 5000s. It heads to Tokyo in October, and then the Zatopek 10 to close out the year. But we're closing out 3 laps here of the elite women's A race. 71-second lap, back straight, we'll see 1 kilometre to race. This is fabulous running in this elite women's race. 4 athletes now clear. Noah McKenzie was definitely one of those. Janet Kipengedic was. There's been a few athletes that have been holding back, making sure that they don't show too much of their cards, but I think it is Noah McKenzie. I think in those on colours, I think has gone to the front. This is 4 kilometres, and I think it's a slow kilometre, 11:55.82. That's a 3-minute kilometre. The pace just dropped very subtly there over the last couple of laps, so just dropping off a little bit of what we wanted. Asrez is there as well. Taimed Asrez is the Ethiopian, and I mentioned who's got good pedigree on the road this year. That's 5:03 is Gebzer, the athlete that we expected again. She's got a 64:14 half marathon lifetime best set 2 years ago. A world medalist over 3,000 metres back in 2018. So again, someone that's come through the age group, 6 years on, she's at senior ranks now. And with that range, 64 half marathon to dropping down to 5,000. 30:53 on the road as well, 14:46 lifetime best for the 23-year-old. And she is trying to hang and drop now with the very best of this race. So we're coming up to 600 metres to go. 13:05 with 600 metres, 1.5 laps of the Maisons Lafayette track here in Paris. Look at that sky, vanilla sky. They're chasing the lights down. They know that is meeting record pace. 5:13, that is Kipengedic there in the lead position. Kipengedic is trying to push it on now. Noah McKenzie, we're in 5:06 behind her. 5:03, Gebzer with 1 lap to run. Kipengedic there, 13:40. So we need a 66 last lap. It is possible. 70.4 was that lap split. So it is very possible we could get a meeting record, but we need a 66 last circuit here. We're going to need the afterburners to come on. So Francine Nkohanzi has done that previously in her lifetime. She's run that this year. 14:44.67 for 3rd in Vienna. But I tell you what, the athlete from Kenya is not giving up. So Janet Kipengedic, she wasn't in the top 3 in the Olympic trials, but she's first place at the moment, and she's trying to challenge, but has the lead changed hands again? I think it has. Now Nkohanzi has gone back into the lead again, into the home straight. Look at the gears being turned over now. We're in 5:06. Fantastic run then in Vienna for 3rd place. She's going to take the victory today. Keep an eye on the clock. Inside 14:46 is a meeting record. It is and it's a new lifetime best, 14:42.41. What a last lap. Wow, I make that around about a 62 last 400 meters. Francine Mercanzi there, what a lap, what a burn up, but fantastic run there. So an athlete that I think is due again for a big step up again in time. So third place in Vienna and winner today in the on singlet. Again, that would be a delight for the meet sponsors, because that will be a picture headline on all of their branding and all of their marketing for next year, because they have absolutely smashed it. Here's some fast times behind. Keep an eye on the race clock. So how fast these runners are running towards lifetime best PBs. Oh, but we've seen a meeting record, 14:41. So as these athletes behind celebrate and how fast their times are. We'll wait for official confirmation of that, but the official time, Burundian winner there, Noah McKenzie, fantastic win there, 14:42.77, and that's a lifetime best. High five from the crowd. She gets the winner's plaque, and she'll also take home some very, very healthy prize money as well. Pacemaker's delighted for her. She set the scene up, but it really was a fantastic run by the Burundian, and a closing out there, and someone to keep an eye on, because a 31:22 at night of the 10,000 meter PBs was much improved tonight. So looks like a much better 5,000 meter runner. So she was fifth in that night, the 10,000 meter PBs, but today she goes top spot, so she's improved. And if there was a series victory, so fifth in the night, the 10,000s, third in Vienna, first tonight, fast 5,000s here from Paris. So if that's inspiration to our runners to keep coming back, to keep part of the on track night series, then that again is the advert for our runners. But again, we'll wait for confirmation of the times behind. The athletes themselves will be waiting for those times to flash up on the screen. So Alex Millard, I think PB back in 15:18.76. So Jenny Nesbitt, I think 15:24. So it looks like 4 athletes inside the 15-minute mark. So Jep Kemboy was back in full, 14:55.73. So good run by Buchard, Alana Buchard, 15:17.13, first of the Europeans home in that women's A race, and some big smiles from the women's A race over 2,000 meters. And there'll be some proud moments, some very pleased runs by the athletes that step onto the podium over that unusual distance. But as I said, love to see it run more often. There's the results of the elite women's A race over 5,000 meters. Kamsi there, you can see Chepengedic. Gabzaha was the third place, 14:46, behind a couple of personal bests, and then some good season's best PBs behind. And you can see Lau there at the bottom of the screen, and a personal best also 15:18. A few tired legs out there as well, many of those going with the early pace, and a successful bit of running and return to form for a few of those athletes as well. And for some, it will be a good stepping stone for the rest of their season there. Look at that, PBs all the way down to 15:43 for Emmy van der Berg there, the Dutch athlete. So we're going inside 16 minutes with a big run tonight with 15:43. So that brings us to the last race of tonight's programme. Can't wait now for this men's A race. So we went inside 13 minutes in Vienna. Tell you what, can we get inside 13 minutes tonight? So you've got to look at around about that 62 seconds per 400 metres, and it maybe a little bit faster on some laps as well. So it's going to make it a challenging evening. The conditions obviously are good having seen the way the elite women attacked the final stages as well. So pacers, they're going to have an important job again of setting up the early pace and making sure that it is controlled and it is economical. So the pace lights themselves are set at the front at exactly 13 minutes of green. So green is what we're chasing tonight. So the red lights 13:10 and 13:20 is the green lights. So those athletes that didn't make Olympic Games qualification, that 13:04 points, obviously IWF or World Athletics, I should say, points, but also they want to make sure that they could go inside those Tokyo World Standards as well. So it might not be the Olympic Games in Paris in a few weeks' time, but some athletes here are chasing some fast times. Jackson Sharp, top of that list, 13:17, Australian athlete, ran 13:25 for 16th in Vienna. That was the depth in Vienna. So it looks like Rory Leonard there, European under-23 champion over 10,000 metres. Ephraim Gidai, the Irish athlete, 6th in Munich over 5,000 metres. And Johan Koal, he's a popular runner, French athlete. When I looked his personal best up, only 30:36, but you might remember him winning the European Steeplechase Championships when Makisi Benabout took his top off and waved it around down the home straight, got DQ'd. Koal was the benefactor that day and got upgraded to the gold medal. So there's a good 1500 metre in those legs as well. Koal moved up from the 1500 to the steeplechase successfully. Ran 8:12 for the steeplechase as well as 3:33 for 15. But maybe it's 5,000 tonight's due a little bit of revision as well. So looking down that start list, there's some quality runners. Nakarama, we've seen Burundi win in the women's race, so 13:03. And from the track night in Vienna, 3rd place. Didn't finish in Highgate, was disappointed in Highgate. And that was Vienna from last year, was his 13:03. Didn't finish in Vienna this year as well. So a couple of below par performances, but he'd love to get back. He's on 13:04 this year. So, there'll be someone that was 5th place last year, 13:06. So again, would love to get towards the best form that he can be in tonight. So the fast times remember last year, Levi Kebet 13:04.21, for Mohammed Ismail 13:04.39. So 13:04 is the event record. So the European cross country champion who went on to take that title in Brussels, that was Jean Scrub, 13:14 that night for the Frenchman. 8th place, Georgie Beamish, set him up well for a World Indoors 500 metre title, and also went on to take, 4th place at those World Championships over steeplechase. And I can't wait to see what he does over the Olympic Games this year over the barriers. And 10th place that day, 12 months ago, George Mills, 13:18, PB that year. And I've already said that a few times, it set him up very well for a European silver medal in Rome and an Olympic berth over 12.5 laps, as well as the 1500, but he secured qualification for 2nd place in the British trials. Isaac Quebec Liba is another 13:06 quality athlete, runs a fair amount of races in Japan. He's run 27:16 on the road as well, and it's actually broken 27 minutes on the road. So cast your mind back to 2022, 26:55. That is a very strong bit of running. So it's his first race, I think, on the track for his 2024 season. So keep an eye out for him. Dukumana is another Burundian, 13:12. So he's someone again that has been competitive in Vienna. I think he was 2nd in the B race that day. 13:23 in that B race. 5th in the All African Championships this year as well. And 27:42 in night of the 10,000 metre PBs. Andadak Suleiman, a train athlete. So we're again 3:36, 19th in Vienna, a national champion. So over 800 metres as well as 1500 metres. So he's got a good bit of speed in those legs, and a 6th place in the World Junior Championships over 1500 as well. But 13:17 lifetime best, that's probably due. Again, a few seconds taken off. Daniel Cameo is 6th in the Olympic trials, so 9th in the Podium Festival road race up in Leicester. So third world under 20 medalist previously. So again, national champion previous as well. So he again is someone to keep an eye out for. Petro Riva, he'll get a shoe shout. It's only 13:22 lifetime best, but a silver medalist over the half marathon in Rome. Now that was some day. Cripper taking the title, and Riva finishing like a train to steal or take the silver medal. And again, he's a six-time national champion, a former European under 20 champion as well, back from 2015. So again, can't highlight enough how great it is to see these athletes coming through from the junior ranks to under 23s to be senior European, and hopefully then go on to be world and potential Olympic medalists as well. So I think that's something that is super exciting to see in the strength of the Italian team right now. They've had some phenomenal performances, and they really did surprise a few people, probably not themselves, with their performances in Rome. The number of medalists, the number of performances was really breathtaking. So we're going to take you through a few more names as we go through. So Valentin Godin is someone else. He's a bronze medalist under 23 from last year, 10,000 meters. Oh, sorry, from 21 actually, a couple more years ago. So 11th in night, the 10,000 meters, but 10th in those Rome European Championships, and 7th in Vienna. So again, he's someone that will get a good cheer, home support out there, and he'll be keeping an eye on the race clock. Some of these athletes have said they want to get faster than their personal best. Maybe not for Olympic selection this year, but World Championship selection, maybe for keeping their contracts, or maybe their bonuses within their contracts, but also to be as competitive in this race as possible. So going down, look at likes of European under-23 cross-country champion Will Barnicoat from Birmingham, the Aldershot and Farnham athlete with a 13:29, and Axel van Christiansen, again under-20 cross-country champion. So we've got the under-23 champion in there, the under-20 champion in there. So let's see battle over 12.5 laps. So a little bit different from the Brussels cross-country course back in December. That was a great day. That was great atmosphere and great noise, and a brilliant event to support. If you get a chance to go to European Cross Country Championships, then get out to the next one. I think it's in Turkey this year. So, turn your attention, 12.5 laps, a waterfall start, and I think that was the headband maybe of Rory Leonard there that we saw. There's a little check over the shoulder, actually 1:29. That's Simon Bedard. So again, he's someone with a 13:19 PB. Look out. So pacer to the front, way inside the pace needed for that first 200, but you've got to get out with that waterfall start with a field of this quality. But there's no hiding. But you've got to get out on the pace, and you, as a pacer, almost need an extra gear to get to the front in a race like this. So down the back straight. So remember, those green lights represent 13 minutes. So the lights themselves will be very close together in the opening laps, and they will start to separate. About 62 seconds through the opening lap, so we're right on pace. So we need something around that 7:50 mark for 3,000. And we want a few seconds inside the 240. 240 is 13:20. So those athletes that have an eye on 13:20, that's what they'll be looking for. But we need sub 240s with some good change inside that. So whole field through the opening exchange briefly. Looks like everyone's stayed on their feet. Looks like everyone is slotted into position. And we're keeping an eye on the wave lights as they drift back very slightly each lap. When the rouge, the red, and the blanc separate the white from the green, that is the chase lights for them up front. Can we get sub 13 minutes? That's the time we're after here. Huge thanks again to On, the superb support that they've given the On track nights over this 2024 season thus far. Night of the 10,000 meters, the Vienna Track Classic, and track night that saw sub 13 minutes. That was very special. We've got the middle distance circuit in Tokyo coming up in October, and then the PEC 10 that again is one that if you've got a few air miles to use up, then get yourselves over to Australia for that. So paces at the front. So they've got such an important job to make sure the pace is set out. There you go, 2:38. That's the kind of time we wanted for that low 13-minute clock in. So pace has done a great job, around about 62, 63 seconds. Might want to keep it moving a little bit faster. Don't want to drop more towards the 63, 64 second laps. So they've got to keep it as economical, as metronomic as possible. So down the back straight, that'll be 3 laps completed. And again, I wonder how far the pacer will be going. Hopefully to 2 kilometres. Hard to find pacers to go all the way to 3 kilometres. They've got to be absolutely world class themselves. Got to be probably in about 7:35 shape themselves to front run 7:50 at single file. And the athletes themselves are making sure that they get themselves into a good position and operate at a pace that they can maintain. So if you have been trackside for a race like this, the speed, but also the noise of the crowd as well. So it's flashing lights now. The sun has gone down, so it's a unique atmosphere. People chasing around the infield. They're getting from one side to the other. That is very unique of these types of races. So these races are pretty special. Usually you're sat in one spot of the track and you don't get the luxury of going around each side. But these athletes, they will do. So Simon Bedard is the athlete in the headband there. So he had that unusual situation where his federation, I think, had an issue, didn't they, with the paperwork for Rome, but it was all sorted, and he ended up finishing 9th in that final after 27:42 at night of the 10,000 metres. So easy to pick out with the headband. And there they are, just sitting in behind, looks like Scott Beattie. Scott Beattie, very good running Riga at those World Road Running Championships, top 10 position there, and 13:24 lifetime best. Probably not had the summer season that he would want, the Andy Hobdell coached athlete. Andy's doing a great job with the likes of Roy Leonard and Ifrin Gidai himself, but I'm sure tonight, Scott Beattie, 13:24 earlier this season in Tessins in France, I should say. So he's back to the French capital for another stab at the 5,000 metre distance. But he's a strong runner and ran well in the British Championship, 4th place. But I think he's the only thing missing probably from this season is a faster time. And so this is the opportunity tonight, and this has been set up fantastically well. They've gone through 2 kilometres, and now the second pacer now, and that's what we wanted. And there was talk about there being 2 paces, and confirmation of that. So the race is split now. We've got the 13-minute group are now absolutely locked in on those green lights, and then the group behind, they're on the red lights, the rouge lights. That's the 13:10, and then the white lights, the 13:20 group. And this is all about now maintaining these 63-second laps. And the pacer, if he can get them to 3,000 metres, this would be fantastic running. But that's hard, as I said. 7:50. It's a little bit more doable with someone taking the first 2 kilometres. As there's the first pacer, just encouraging pacer number 2 to keep it going, to keep rolling it along. He's going to hear the bell himself in his mind, probably with a lap to run for this pacer. If he is going to get to 3,000 metres, you can see the pain etched over his face. And there are gaps now. And around about a 63.2 second lap there going up on the screen for our pacer. So you can see groups starting to form behind. There are bits coming off people already. So this is fast running as we're over the halfway point here. The Fast 5000, this is the elite men's race. Wherever you're joining us from around the world, welcome. It is a Fast 5000 meter meet, this one. 14 races through the day. This is the the final race of our 14 race program. Started way earlier today, just after midday, and through each of the heats, through each of the paces, through each of the races, 400 athletes. So it's been a festival here of racing, and we've seen a women's record today, 14:42 for the event. The on-track nights, and seeing some fast running in this elite men's race. So this is now coming down towards the 3,000 meter mark, and there another 2:38, so 7:54. So it is Ali Nakarama that we thought would be one of the athletes there, and he's a 13:03 man that would love to get close to breaking 13 minutes. We've seen the Burundi winner in the women's race. Could we make it a 1-2 in the men's race? Nakarama is a strong athlete. So fifth last year, so he knows this circuit, he knows the noise, he knows the atmosphere, as there's now just gaps of fast times. Look at that, they're going ahead of the green lights. So this is fast running now. So if the green lights are set on what we thought they were, but some of them times they have changed very subtly going into the race, because they're, on my calculations, outside 13-minute pace. So I wonder whether that is set at record pace for the meet. That could well be set at the 13:04 mark. I think it is, but if they are to stay out in front of it, then we could knock on the door of the magical 13 minutes, but it's going to need a magical last few laps here. It needs some closes towards 60 seconds per lap. So two athletes now duking it out, and whether that's Dama, the Kenyan athlete, I think maybe sat in the slipstream of Nakarama as they come around the crown of the bend. It's almost like a chasing snake of lights behind them. So the red lights not too far there either. So great noise, fantastic atmosphere here as they come down with 2 to run, and it could well be the 2 Burundians, 63.5. Could be Nakarama, his teammates. So looks like I think the 2 Burundians, who are training partners, I believe. So they've both been doing the circuit, both been racing in the likes of nights of the 10,000 meter PBs. They've been in Vienna, and now they are battling it out, but we'll wait. Now it has changed hands. Nakarama was the leader, wearing 104. His teammate Nakarama is wearing 110, but we'll wait for confirmation of that when they come round. It's getting darker here, getting more challenging to see the numbers. This is could be the Rwanda maybe as they come down. And it's 119. It's Daniel Kameo is the leader. It is the Kenyan athlete, 13:18. He said he's been travelling well. So third of World Juniors over 1,500 metres previously, 6th in those Olympic trials. So he's got something to prove tonight. There's an army of on runners behind. So I think one of those is the athlete from Rwanda, Novona. He's 13:15, best 6th in those African Games, 5th in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. So I was back in that stadium this week, and it'd be great to have more meets there. Such good memories from those Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. So into the business end of things, 600 metres to run. So we're going to need a very fast last 500 metres. I think 13 minutes has slipped away, but I think we're on very close to record pace here, the 13:04. So it is. Nakarama is leading with the sound of the bell. He needs a 55.6 last lap to break 13 minutes, 61.11 for that lap. So easily the fastest lap from the opening exchange. And now turning it on, absolutely flying down the back straight. He's going to be very close to the record here. It stands at 13:04. Now with just over 200 metres to run, 12:02, sorry, 12:32. So he needs a 27 last 200. It's going to be very close to 13 minutes. Nakarama has flown over this last 300 metres into the home straight. It's going to be Burundi winner in the women's. It's going to be Burundi winner in the men's. Keep an eye on the clock. Nakarama is going to take it here. The Fast 5000. Oh, and just ever so close to the 13-minute mark. 13 minutes, 0.76. Oh, and it was all in that last 800 metres. A 2:28.5 last kilometre. That did the absolute damage. Wow, that is some running. And fast times were high. Look at that, 13:24 on the race clock. And so much of the field inside that. And those on spikes again, showing that they are very fast. But what a run. Haka Rakarama there, what a win. So a Burundian winner in the women's. And a Burundian winner in the men's as well. So big celebrations in Burundi. And he's come back from a disappointing not finishing at the Vienna, the track night in Vienna. But he's come back, and I tell you what, absolutely nailed that last lap. But you could see from the speed, I made it around about 55 seconds, 56 seconds for that last 400 metres. The last 300 metres, the best part of 41 seconds, 27 seconds that last 200. But he just couldn't quite get back towards sub 13 minutes. But I tell you what, that sets it up fantastically well for 12 months' time. So again, if you're an elite runner watching this with envy, get your entry in fast. The elite places go very quickly. Spectators, get yourselves to Paris next year. We'd love you to be trackside to support the on-track nights, and do go and get a view of the results, because whatever standards of 5,000 meter running, you can come and run an earlier graded heat of the 5,000, and then you can sit and eat and drink beers or non-alcoholic beverages and soak up the beautiful evening here of the French capital. And I tell you what a run. But well done again to the young Kenyan. He's only 19 on my sheet, and I tell you what, Daniel Kameo is going to be someone to look out for in the future. So he's world junior medalist over 1,500, sixth in those Olympic trials, but bold tonight. But he could not live with the speed. Nakarama there was just breathtaking. Look at that. A beautiful posed, relaxed running, that on singlet going towards that race tape, and a little look towards the clock. He knows it's just ticked over, but I tell you what, a personal best, and he'd be absolutely delighted with that. So he's so yes, the joy of a PB, but he knows how close he was to running inside 13 minutes, and I'm sure the fans of 5,000 meter running will absolutely applaud that bit of running as well, because he was bold, he was brave, but to kick down a last lap like he did, and not just to break 60, but to shatter 60 seconds for that last circuit, that is impressive running. But the chase for sub 13 minutes goes on here again, and that will be something that the organisers, I'm sure that will be one of the top things on their list next year, is bringing back those that have smashed it this year, but also making sure that they go a few seconds faster in 12 months' time. So good luck. I think he is heading to the Olympic Games as well, so we wish him all the very best in Paris. I think the final is on the 10th of August for the men's. And I'm sure if he does make that final, but if he's anywhere to be seen within that last kilometre, could be a danger in the fact that type of speed off a fast pace. If it's a little bit slower than the last kind of 400-meter speed you need in a world or Olympic final, is something that we saw then, and kicking around people as well. Could go a few seconds faster. So it's all talks, it's all chats around the personal best, the performances that they had tonight. There'd be the good, the bad, and the ugly of the performances. That is what running is about. So it's about things that go well sometimes, but sometimes it just doesn't go to plan. So all smiles for some, and for others it might be back to the slight drawing board as well. But I'm sure they will have learned a lot. You always learn a lot through a 10,000 meter race as well. This is Fabien Palcourt, a Dijon athlete, 13:31 coming into this. So I wonder what he's clocked. He's getting interviewed, so I wonder whether it's a few seconds faster than that. I think he looks fairly happy, looks fairly fresh and relaxed. So he's again part of a good French contingent of runners that are coming through. And I tell you what, having these types of meets, we know that tonight the 10,000 metres has pumped life back into distance running in the UK. I think we're seeing likewise with a few talented Austrians coming through as well. And I think we are definitely seeing that with this opportunity on local home soil. The Diamond League tomorrow is for the select few. But for some of these athletes, this is their stepping stone towards that. But we will wait for confirmation of those times. As the discussions, the smiles, maybe the slight uncertainty of what performances have been put out there. They'll be refreshing the apps and refreshing the performers. And Palcourt's time coming up was 13:15.27. So Valentin Gondin was first home of the French athletes, 13:14.79 in fourth place. And there you go, Johan Koal at the tender age, I'm going down my age sheet now, 37. So fair play, 37. PB is gone 13:18.85. PB to the Brits. Well done, Scott Beattie. That's the time you wanted to go to fourth place in the British champs. 13:19.41 PB. PB for Will Barnicoat as well. 13:19.66. Ellis Cross, a former winner here, former record holder. He's gone 13:29, and a PB also for Ifan Gidai, the Irish athlete. That's a great run, 13:23. So some good performances as we go down the list, and there's some happy athletes. But Duarte Gomez, who I mentioned in the last race, wasn't in that last race, got an upgrade at the very last minute, rewarded with a PB, 13:17.88. Pedro Riva, the Italian silver medalist from those European Championships over the half marathon distance, stepping down well, 13:18.29. So big PBs, and that's why this event is just so important, given that the strength, given that the pacemaking, the organisation, the atmosphere, and again, well done to all of those partners, all of those sponsors involved in this event. It really does signify successful running. Look at that sheet there. Got even closer to sub 13 minutes when the official time was given there, 13:00.47. Fantastic victory, and 13:04.02 season's best. Daniel Kameo there, and Rwandan, I did mention him. Lumumba was the athlete that got up for the third place, season's best. And look at that, a whole host of PBs on that first page. And 13:16 getting you at just 9th place. Amari there, the Saad Amari, the Algerian there. But big PBs and a good amount of French PBs. That'll be celebrated as well. And the Brits making it worth their while, the trip over. So it looks like a good number of PBs there for athletes that have made the long journey, the decision to travel, stay further overseas. And that is the close of the results of the elite men's race. But what a night, what a number of performances. And what a superb evening here it's been in the French capital. The Diamond League tomorrow, the Olympic Games in 20 days, but the amount of season's best, personal best set here tonight. The Fast 5000 has put itself again as a headliner in the calendar. And the on-track nights just goes from strength to strength, moving to Tokyo in October. The Zatopek Classic in Suspect 10 to close out the new year. But what a superb night here. And again, those that have joined us from around the world, from around Europe, we hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of this on-track night and this Fast 5000 for 2024.
Il a battu le record du meeting en 13 minutes et 47 centièmes. Applaudissements pour Échillé, Natakeru, Timala, Burundi. Le podium de nous est 4, mérite beaucoup plus d'applaudissements. Le record du meeting est tombé en 13 minutes et 47 centièmes. Faites du bruit, s'il vous plaît. Votre attention, on annonce sur la ligne d'arrivée Dominique, Julie de toute urgence. Merci à toi de bien vouloir venir nous retrouver sur la ligne d'arrivée. Daniel Joly, merci. Cette justice pour le Kenya attendu au protocole, également Géraldine de Bessières, attention également au protocole. Cérémonie protocolaire, remise des récompenses du 5000 mètres féminin. Pour remettre récompense et médailles, Simon Messenger, monsieur le maire de Maison Lafitte, Laurie de Heup. Elle termine 3e ce soir en 14,46, 77, Guermaout, Guermézière, Éthiopie. Deuxième, en 14 minutes 45 secondes et 51 centièmes, Jeannette Chepnetich, Kenya. Et elle a remporté brillamment ce 5000 mètres ce soir à l'occasion de cette 4e édition du FAST5000. 14,42,77, Francine Nilomindisi-Mouti. Soyez généreux avec vos applaudissements et vos encouragements. Faites du bruit pour le podium 2024 du 5000 mètres féminin. C'est à vous! Quelle journée autour du 5000 mètres, une journée énorme, le FAST5000 va devoir à un moment donné, il faut que ça s'arrête, comme ça va s'arrêter, on va repartir, on va vous quitter avec plein de choses dans la tête, avec les yeux qui brillent, et ça, c'est grâce au FAST5000 des records. À l'appel que ce soit sur 5000, on a vécu une très grande soirée autour du demi-fond. Il y en a eu pour tout le monde. Il y en a eu également pour celles et ceux qui sont venus ce soir, bien tout simplement réaliser leur rêve, réaliser un chrono qu'ils ambitionnait tout s'est super bien passé le grade. Eh bien, vous l'avez vécu il y a quelques minutes avec un chrono monstrueux de 13 minutes et de 47 centièmes, un nouveau record du meeting. On s'est tout simplement régalé. Moi, je voulais également remercier tous les bénévoles, toutes celles et ceux qui ont énormément travaillé pour vous plaire.